one who gets hit by a beer in the neighborhood. Call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a Hooter.
Come in the 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. We're live on YouTube. We're live here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Streaming all over the world, literally. I have a listener in Carousel named Quincy who reaches out to me all the time. Shout out to our friends in Carousel. I was taking a nap yesterday afternoon, which was one of my favorite pastimes. And I got a text from one Jim Louth, our assistant program director, and he says, "You're going to be working with Dan Lifshatz tomorrow." And you know how you can give like a reaction? I gave one of those punctuations.
Ooh.
And I went, yes. So this morning is the reunion of the Bankroll Boys. Dan Lifshatz is here.
We're back. No,
Duval. How are you, Dan?
I'm fine. Yeah, obviously the news obviously is not the greatest. Not exactly what you want to hear. We had a really good run on the
a 7-year run.
7-year run between the podcast and the show. 5 years in the show. Good run. I know that Kendra is doing a good job continuing it, but yeah, obviously sad. It is what it is. It's the radio business.
Well, I like it how it's, hey, Joe's there on a Sunday. Just have Lifshatz come in from a couple of miles down the road.
Yeah, no, I'm not far yet. Not far yet. So.
Yeah, despite the was some sort of marathon this morning that got in your way.
Yeah, there's like a bike-a-thon or something going on in Weston, and my usual 15 to 20 minute commute decided to take 45 minutes today, which is thankfully I left early. But wow, a lot of bikers on the local roads here on a Sunday.
Yeah, too many things going on in the world that are unexpected. You know what used to get me was the regatta when we worked at the old station.
Yeah.
That damn boating event.
Yeah.
That take up the whole, literally the whole city was destructed by that thing.
Yeah. Luckily, I never, because I always came through Newton that way, I never had to deal with the regatta. I was coming from the opposite way, and I got lucky every time. I never had to deal with that thing. But the horror stories especially from Jeremy Conley, used to tell me the horror stories are brutal.
The way I said that damn thing reminded me of Billy Madison when Chris Farley's in the truck, Jeff, and he's like, "Damn kids will turn this damn bus around."
They'll end your precious little field trip.
Dude, I haven't seen Jeff in like a year.
I know, right?
What's going on, Jeff?
What's happening, buddy?
These Sundays have been fun. Technically, it's kind of like a whatever you want kind of show. So people can call in, talk to Dan at 617-779-0985. We're on YouTube. Let's see. Somebody is watching from northeastern Pennsylvania right now. George.
Nice.
I have not been to northeastern Pennsylvania, wherever that is. Is that Penn State country, or would that be like a... I don't know.
I don't know my Pennsylvania geography well enough. I've been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Philly. It was pretty much the only two places I've been in Pennsylvania. Although I did drive from Philly to Pittsburgh to make a trip for a Steelers game. Went from Hartford to Philly to Pittsburgh, back to Philly, back to Hartford. That was a fun trip.
I just got an LFG. Work's going to be awesome with Lifshatz here today from Schmitty, who's working at the 99 right now.
Oh, nice. It's a great spot. Say what's up to Milliken.
Ooh, I got something on Milliken shortly here. We should probably start there. So I was at a VFW last night.
You should probably tell the people what that is.
Well, it's a post, like like a hall you go to.
No, I know what it is. I'm just saying, if you're listening, my wife would have no idea.
Okay, so people have graduation parties. That's where I was at. People have just things for their family that they can have 100 people at, that they can have a little bar and then a music guy. So there's a guy playing music or whatever. Well, there's this tiny little TV behind the bar. So you have to be ordering a drink in order to see the score.
Yeah.
And I saw 6-2 and I went, these guys suck. Because they do. They do. The Red Sox, there's been nothing for me to talk about at night regarding the Red Sox besides every game blaming the manager for something. I blame the manager constantly, Dan. And it's, I know in this town it's great, right? And especially in Red Sox lore, it's always easy to first go at the manager whenever something goes wrong. But I really do think his decisions have affected the show. Have affected the games. Everything's affected, the outcomes. Like, I think throwing changeups late. That's why I say throw the gas, not the ass, because every home run they give up is on an off speed or a slider or something. So, like, all I can do is just point to the manager. Or maybe it's the pitching coach. I don't know. Last night, they had a walk-off win. There's a lot going on with Raphael Devers. I said this last week, so I'm going to stay consistent on it. The team really doesn't have much culture or any leadership. And this was a time for Raphael Devers to become that guy moving to first base. He didn't. But since John Henry flew out to see him, he's batting over 400. He had a walk-off last night for the Red Sox, who really needed a win, and it was a good moment for Raphael Devers. So I'm going to be consistent on it and say this is a time for Devers to take that next step and be a leader. I don't know if he's a leader, Dan, but last night he won the game.
First walk-off dong of his career, correct?
Is that true?
I believe it is. I believe it's first walk-off dong of his career. I mean, look, the guy obviously has had some off-field issues. I'd say more than the on-field stuff. Obviously, starting the year, what was it, 0 for 19, 0 for 26, whatever it was.
Broke a record.
Not great. But outside that, I mean, he's been, pretty much Raphael Devers since the start of the season. My take on this is simply the team's manager has been terrible. I mean, that's what, and I do kind of agree with what the what the midday show says. What does Alex Cora do? I don't know, and I do think that there have been guys like Milkins have been on the station not defending him so much, but a lot of these guys defending him. They're under 500. I mean, this is a team that closed 87.5 on their win total this year. They spent some money. This is no longer an ownership issue. They went out there, they signed Alex Bregman, who's been one of the best players in the AL. I think he's, like 4th or 5th in the AL MVP odds. Obviously, he's not going to win because Judge's going to, win that slam dunk. But regardless, the reality is that this is no longer about ownership. This is now an internal issue. They have not handled the Devers issue well at all in any sort of aspect of that. I don't think they're handling the bullpen well. The Red Sox have one of the best first 5 records in all baseball. So it's not a starting pitching thing either. It's a bullpen and beyond, and making the right managerial moves. And I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked here is that the Red Sox have one of the best first 5 records in baseball. So that it's not a starting pitching or really even a hitting issue early on in the games. It's a managerial decision, making the right call later on in the game. And I think that is where, the Red Sox are having the majority of their issues.
Oh, yeah. They're like one of the worst hitting teams after the 5th inning. And I think that has something to do with going through the lineup a couple of times.
I think it's the bullpen, too. I think it's the bullpen. I think it's pinch hitting the right guys. I think it's putting themselves in the right situations. And last night, finally, they made, some right decisions. They pulled on some right strings, and he got a win that they desperately needed after they fell 2 games under 500. That was a huge win last night for them. They need to go on a bit of a roll here with the way things are going. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, Joe. It's not like they're 4-6 or 3-7. They're 5-5. It's time to pick it up a little bit here. I mean, the Orioles just fired Brandon Hyde. Obviously, I know the Orioles are struggling significantly more than the Red Sox. But the reality is, how far away are the Sox from firing Alex Cora if things, kind of dip into July and we're in the same spot?
I don't think they can.
Because of the extension?
I do. Number one is yes. I think it's the extension. There's a lot there, Dan, and a buffet of takes today. And somebody in our chat wrote, "Grab a plate." The Red Sox dynamic is very interesting. Like, Raphael Devers called out Craig Breslow. Basically, it was like, the guy should do his job. Go find somebody and, go to the market and find somebody. Hey, that guy was a player. He should know what it's like. I mean, is there respect from the players for the general manager?
Obviously not. Or at least not from your team so-called leader.
How about the flip side of it? Cora couldn't even go to Devers to say, hey, we want to move you to first base.
That's a problem as well.
Because why? Because he already knows they asked the guy to do something different. So now you're going to ask him to do something else. And to Devers' quote, I can't play all 9 positions.
I also think that there's just kind of I'm starting to believe there's starting to be a lack of respect for Alex Cora in some capacity. Look, it doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid. It doesn't matter if you went to the player and asked him. If he's not willing to make sacrifices, you're not even willing to ask. You're not even willing to figure out, say, Rafi, we need you on this one. Like, he has to have some sort of strong relationship with Cora over the past couple of years, right? I mean, that has had to be developed at this point. You would expect that those two have some sort of relationship. If that is not strong enough at this point to go to Raphael Devers and say, hey, between you and me, let's just talk about this. What do you think about this, okay? Tell me what you really feel. If you can't do that at this point, why is the guy here? Why? Forget about asking everyone else. Just a private conversation between two guys saying, dude, just tell me what you think about this, okay? I don't want to make it sound like I asked you. I don't, et cetera, et cetera. Just tell me what you think, man.
So how about the fact that the guy who replaced him in free agency played with Alex Cora in Houston? Like, do you think Devers looked at it as, oh, they're bringing in Alex Bregman? Oh, why? That's Cora's boy. Right?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure to some capacity it is. But if you can't smooth that over with a 5-6 year relationship, I mean, what are we doing?
True. And
what's the value of the manager if he can't utilize relationships from that have supposedly grown over 5 to 6 years? I mean, the whole value of Cora was to really connect with the younger, Dominican, Caribbean type players.
The Latin players, yeah.
Yeah, and if he can't do that anymore, and he's not providing you anything in the bullpen, he's not making the right shots in the bullpen, he's not making the right calls in the lineup, what is the value of Alex Cora? There is none. That's the reality. So that's where you are. If you don't have value, being able to ask Raphael Devers to play a position or have a legitimate talk man to man, and you can't, make the right decisions in the bullpen, and you can't make the right decisions in the lineup, Alex Cora no longer has any value to this team. And while it may suck that you lose money, ownership has to do the right thing at some point.
One last take on that. It took John Henry to get on a plane to go to Kansas City, by the way, to talk to Raphael Devers because the manager wouldn't and the GM didn't do his job.
Oh, the GM got, I guess, disrespected publicly. I wouldn't even say he didn't do his job.
So what do you think?
I think the GM did his job.
What do you think the owner said in that meeting?
I think he said what basically he said to everyone, what are we doing here? Like, that's what I think. I think it was a what are we doing here meeting of the minds. Because if, again, I think he's saying, Alex, what value do you provide? Craig should not be doing this job. This is a manager's job. And Rafi, you can't be acting like a petulant 5-year-old child out in the public. If you want to handle this internally, let's handle it internally. But putting it out there in the public, I mean, how the Red Sox are so PR conscious and so PR driven about all the decisions that they make. Obviously, John Henry had to get on a plane so that this didn't devolve into a PR nightmare, right? It was already the beginning of one. It could have gotten 10 times worse if Craig Breslow had returned fire or said anything in the media. Like, imagine what that would have done.
Do you know what I almost think? Did Devers say, like, I'm almost curious if Devers was like, hey, old man, go get us some help. We've been asking you for years to get help for the team. Like, I'm almost wondering if he calls out Breslow. He already got his money from Cora, from Henry. What's he need from Henry? Henry can't pull back the money.
He doesn't need anything from Henry.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'd be like, hey, old man, what are you doing here?
But I think the reality is that we did spend money with Rafi. We spent money at the position. You don't like it, but we spent the money. So, if that's true. That's the issue, then we spent money. You may not like where we spent money, but we spent it.
He has been the one that's been petitioning to spend more money and get better. Yet he won't be the one to make the changes to help the team.
Yeah.
So what is it, Rafi? Hey, they won last night.
Look, Devers had a walk-off home run. Today's not the day to get on Raphael Devers, to be perfectly honest.
I think I'm saying what I'm saying because in a way, like, should we be on Rafi's side here? Like, the manager really hasn't been great. The GM's disrespected, and the owner really hasn't spent much at all.
So I'm kind of a 50-50 here. I am on the side of Raphael Devers where it comes, the frustration, I think, from the past couple of years is coming out, and I think I totally understand that. At the same time, it's not the general manager's fault. The general manager, who may or may not even be calling the shots in reality, brought in a good player. That player has done a lot of good for the team so far this year. And not to mention, traded for Garrett Crochet, who's been phenomenal. So between Bregman and Crochet, has any GM in recent history done as well as getting Bregman and Crochet in an offseason? No, Dombrowski's probably the last guy you can point to.
Yeah.
So in reality, Breslow theoretically has done better than anyone else in the past couple of years. The Red Sox have invested the money. So this is not about the general manager. So I'm also on Breslow's side, being like, well, Breslow's probably like, what do you want from me? I did everything that you guys asked. I've gotten 2 elite marquee players. Raffy, go out there and make our team better. You said you wanted to be better, make our team better. So at this point, you're kind of, I'm on, it's a 50-50 kind of situation here. I understand both sides of the coin. I don't agree with any of them.
I just don't. It's hard for me to back someone who makes $300 million, but at the same time, I do think that these whole entire ownership group, manager and general manager, has been somewhat of a bleep show.
100%.
That's hard for me to back them too.
Oh, I hate the ownership group. I do not like the ownership group at all.
I do think the ownership group has been successful overall for their career.
Sure,
for their tenure, they've been successful.
Sure, and I hear this argument all the time. I don't give a what happened back in 2004. It's 21, 21 years ago. Okay, fine. Do you care about 8 years ago? 9 years ago?
I care that they've gotten 4 championships over 20 years. I do.
Okay, that's great, but
I'm just saying that's a good group.
But do you care?
Do I think it's been great?
They're a different group than they were back in
championships and then been in last place.
But
they're
a different group than they were back when they were spending money and winning titles. They're a different group now. They're not spending in that consistent level. They're not going over the luxury tax. They don't. They're not spending with the "we don't give a f" mantra. They are basically saying, we're going to spend when it's appropriate, when it doesn't hurt us and doesn't hurt our pockets. And
True.
We're also going to, make sure that we're staying within the luxury tax. We'll go over 1 year. We'll go under 1 year. They're not spending with the same mantra. They're a very different ownership group. So what they did in 2004, 2007, 2013, none of that interests me because they're no longer the same group. Even the most recent title, Joe, they're no longer the same group that would outspend the Dodgers. They're not that group anymore. They got rid of Mookie Betts, and now they're a completely different ownership group. May have the same names. It may still be John Henry, but guess what? That's a different John Henry than we used to know because he owns Liverpool. He owns the Penguins. They have to spread out the wealth now. It's a very different ownership group because of those things, and that is the reality of where we are.
Well, I do love our chat who's watching. Thank you for the 225 people in there. Get on over there.
That's a lot of people.
Go to YouTube, search 98.5 The Sports Hub, subscribe, and make a little name for yourself. And then Artie says, ooh, going after the throat of the manager this morning. Love it. And then Dan, F your legacy. To the Red Sox ownership.
Why? Look, I'm not telling you that they don't have a great legacy. I'm not telling you they're not great. I'm just telling you, why do you care what they did 20 years ago? They're different. It's not the same thing.
Agreed.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what they did in 2004. I don't.
Well, Raphael Devers did speak after the game last night. And the reporters want to let you know that the first guy to run out and give a fist pump to Raphael Devers was Craig Breslow. That, according to Chris Cotillo. I love Chris.
Maybe they had a nice kumbaya moment with John Henry.
I feel as though Chris from Mass Live
obviously
definitely wanted to make that one known.
I think that's a very clear and obvious point to be made there.
All right, more on Raphael Devers, your thoughts on the Red Sox, and well, if they lose today, does it even matter? We'll get into that coming up here on the other side. Dan Lifshatz is here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Dan Lifshatz is here, everybody. The Bankroll Boys, we're back. We're going to do some betting on the show. There's 2 Game 7s tonight.
There are
2 Game 7s.
I have a legitimate take on both of them.
Great. The Patriots schedule came out. Win totals. We'll do that throughout the show.
Got a take on that.
That was Raphael Devers' walk-off home run last night. The Red Sox really needed it. And for at least for the time being, Raphael Devers has, since his meeting with John Henry, has been amazing. Let me give you some of these numbers here. He's batting .419 since the meeting. He has 13 hits, 2 home runs, 9 RBI. His slugging is .677 with an OPS of 1100. That's pretty good.
That's a superstar. I mean, that is a legit superstar right there.
I don't think it's the meeting with Henry that's motivated this. I don't think it is. I know people are going to point to it. Hey, you see the numbers? It's the man. Dan, I really hope he told the old man off. I hope he said to him, no, I'm not moving to first. You know what? What's another thing about the first base thing with Devers with me is he wasn't a great third baseman. Could he play the position, Dan? Absolutely. Yeah. I'd put him out there every day. I really would.
Yep.
I know he would. And maybe at some point they should have thought about Bregman at second. I don't know. Maybe they should have just done that. And I get that there was a Gold Glove third baseman coming in. But if you're not great at third base, what makes you think you're good at first? And listen, Dan, I know it's easy for us to say, yeah, but guys have done it. Like Kevin Youkilis did it and was fine. And can Devers do it? Like, I wonder if he almost has his own doubts about doing it. And I just think that people who think playing first base is so easy, it's not, because you see a bunch of guys who can't do it right now. Watching Romy Gonzalez play first base drives me crazy. Now, Dan, this is coming from a guy who never played in the college or a professional level of first base, but I played first base, Parkway Little, it's high school baseball. Here we go.
Yep.
That guy, their footwork around the bag sucks. It's awful. I can't watch it. So it makes me think that Devers can't do it. No, I shouldn't say can't do it. I don't think he would be good at it.
I think that's a distinct possibility. I also think you wouldn't know until you at least give it your legitimate try. Like, I think that the fact that he's not even willing to try and do it is disconcerting, and obviously as a fan is downright sad. I mean, as a fan, I like Raphael Devers. I've always been a big proponent of Raphael Devers since he was a prospect in the minors. I didn't want to deal him. Dombrowski was dealing everyone left and right. I didn't want to deal Devers. I love Devers. I've loved Devers as a player since he was, in Double-A. But the reality is that I also like guys who are pretty much willing to do whatever it takes to win. That's what we like here in Boston for the most part. And Devers got paid, rightfully so. I'm happy as hell that he got paid. But if you're not willing to make, sacrifice a little bit when you get paid, Rafi, you're not going to be loved here. And that is the reality. So if you can't make a little sacrifice to try and move to first base, why should I make a sacrifice to love you? So the reality is that this is, it's on Devers. It's on Devers.
You mentioned you liked players who did whatever they could for the team.
100%.
There was a time where the Patriots, I know I'm sticking, this is a Red Sox conversation.
Crossing sports, I know.
We do that on this show.
That's okay. We're allowed to. I hate that rule, by the way, not crossing sports. The dumbest rule.
So years ago, you remember the Patriots had 3 guys, Dante Hightower, Chandler Jones, and Malcolm Butler.
Yep.
And they basically said they could probably keep 2, but really 1. It wasn't Butler. It wasn't
for
Chandler.
Obvious reasons.
It wasn't Chandler Jones, who I know had some off-field stuff, and it's actually kind of sad. But I think he's if you look at his numbers, he's right up there with J.J. Watt. Now, are they different players?
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying this is where the sack numbers become a little overrated, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, Chandler Jones has, if you look at the sack numbers, they're right there. Neck and neck.
No, it's just crazy.
But if you look at them on the field, it's not the same guy.
No, because Watt was phenomenal against the run, and Chandler was not.
Dante Hightower, they kept. Helped them win a championship in 2018.
Right decision.
Was it probably the right decision?
Yes.
It was. The Red Sox had Xander Bogaerts, who came up a shortstop, but played third base in a World Series in 2013 and helped them win.
Yep.
Now is playing second base for the Padres.
And is not doing well.
The other guy, Mookie Betts.
Yep.
Came up as second baseman, moved to the right field, then he became a center fielder, and he's done whatever the teams have asked him to do. Right? Yep. What's he done with the Dodgers? Everywhere?
Everything. shortstop, second base, center field, right field, whatever.
But the guy they kept, Raphael Devers.
Yeah, wrong decision. They should have kept Mookie Betts. And I love Xander Bogaerts. I was furious when they let him go. I don't like the replacement that they signed in Trevor Story. I think he sucks personally. Yep, think he sucks.
Nice guy, crap player.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a great person. I'm sure he's a great person.
Not good teammate, everything.
Yeah,
decent defense.
Decent. Yeah, he's fine defensively.
Just sucks.
Yeah, not does he just. It's not even the suck part. It's the not being able to stay healthy, which I think has really contributed to his downfall. It's hard to be a good player when you can't get on the field and you're consistently injured. That also depletes your skills. So it's not Trevor Story just sucks. It's well, he's just consistently injury prone and therefore, he isn't good anymore because he was constantly hurt. But the reality is that kept the wrong dude there. Kept the wrong dude. The 3 Bs, you went with the wrong B. It should have been Mookie Betts.
That's why I was trying to one won the championship. The other one is trying to, right?
Yeah, Mookie Betts is what? I mean, a no doubt top 5 player.
Yeah, as far as active Hall of Famers, he's one of them.
Top 5 player in the league, no doubt in my mind. I mean, you talk about top 5 players right now. I think in everyone's list, any casual baseball fan, Mookie Betts would be right up there in top 5.
Now, they did sign one. Should we give them credit for that? That they actually signed Devers? They remember I was at the Winter Classic, and they were chirping John Henry.
Sure.
Sign Devers, and he did. He fell for it. He fell into it.
Yep.
Because he was in Liverpool all the time. He was wow, everybody really loves Devers, huh?
Don't get me started on the stupid soccer stuff. I've been fighting with Liverpool fans for years.
Liverpoolies?
The purchase of Liverpool is the downfall of the Red Sox. They are directly correlated, by the way. It's not a difficult correlation to find. It really isn't. It only gets worse when the Penguins are purchased, by the way. You can make a direct correlation to every purchase of a team that John Henry has. The worse the spending gets. There is a correlation there.
Well, I have a correlation that I'll bring up. We brought up Trevor Story. There's a big article today on NBC Sports Boston about how they should move on from him.
Yeah, they should.
And there's a plan in place, which we'll get to in a minute. But I feel like we should let the listeners hear. Dan, whenever I want information regarding the Red Sox, I go to Tyler Milliken's Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Vegas last week. Do you know that?
Was he?
So it's the weirdest thing, okay?
I'm actually kind of offended he didn't reach out to where to go.
Me too. So I texted him, and I go, I have been thinking about you nonstop.
Actually, he probably went to Hardy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I sent this, it was kind of, I send sometimes weird messages every once in a while. But I wrote to him, and I go, I have been thinking about you nonstop in Vegas. And I waited, and he wrote back, and he goes, oh man, we're off the strip. Nothing's really going on. And I go, oh, you're off the strip? There's a lot going on, bro. What's going on down there? It's been crickets from him.
That's worse than being on the strip, is being off the strip. That's where the real sketchy stuff goes. Being on the strip, what there is. I mean, yes, there's a lot of yahoos and weird stuff. Being off the strip is where all the stuff goes down.
Do you know what I love? When I went to Vegas recently for WrestleMania, I got the Vegas feel when I went. Sometimes I've gone before, and sometimes it feels like a money grab, or it's the lights and the glamour and all that. But when I walked the streets, the nudies were still on the street. That made me feel good. I don't know what it was about that. I just the Vegas feel was real. And again, I was with people who went to the Sphere for the Deadheads and wrestling fans. You probably would want no part of that group.
I'm all set. That's not my kind of crowd. I'm all good with that.
Oh, I ran into a bunch of gambling guys though, who are out there. A ton of guys. I'll tell you off the air, but yes, a bunch of people.
Probably a good idea.
A bunch of people were in Vegas. Our good betting friends. But yes, I go to Tyler Milliken's Twitter. And they tied the game in the 8th inning.
Yep.
And there was a stream. I believe it was Tyler. It was Jared. I don't know who else was on, actually. I apologize. But let's hear the reaction in the 8th inning tie. No! 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 Yes! No, please! I need it right now!
I wish it was
Oh,
Clark.
it's the walkout. I'm sorry. No! 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 Yes!
Did he take his shirt off?
Okay, well, no, that's nipples for triples.
I'm aware of that, but I mean, what do we have? I can't say what I want.
I know. He definitely pulled his pants down.
Yeah,
Hey, can we hear that one more time? Just it made me laugh hearing this thing. No! 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 Yes! I need
I
it!
wish it was Clark.
Yes. Oh, he dropped it. Yep. That's the line.
No way! Jared was with like a crew. He was like at a bar, like hosting an
I can
event or
tell there's
something.
like a billion people in the background, it sounds like.
I love that. I wish I felt that way about sports like he does.
I still feel that sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
sometimes it's in there.
Ohio State football this year did it for me. It moved. Ohio State football did it for me. Not to mention I had $1 billion on the game, and they covered, and I mean, it was just, that was phenomenal.
Can I tell you one that got me? I bet the under for the Patriots, and I bet they'd be the worst team in the NFL.
You did, yeah. You were on that. I think I pretty much poo-pooed that.
It was plus
well.
450,
Yeah.
and all they had to do was lose week 18. All they had to do, Dan. And when they didn't, I was the first voice everybody heard.
Joe Milton legacy game.
I ripped. Man. No, but that was where it came out. Like I felt it in my belly,
Yep.
my guts, and I laid into it. And I'm like, this guy should be fired now. And then what happened? He got fired.
Can I give you a legitimate take about that? I know this is going to sound absolutely absurd. I honestly think the Patriots winning that game probably set them back 4 or 5 years. They would have just think about what they would have had. They would have had the number 1 pick. There were 3 to 4 teams who absolutely were obsessed with Cam Ward in this draft. I followed the NFL draft closer than I've ever followed an NFL draft. The last 2 years especially.
Belichick loved him a year ago, but then he went back to school.
Yep.
But I do remember, and again, we're taking Belichick's word for it, but he was like, this Cam Ward's going to be something.
But there were a few teams that were obsessed with Cam Ward. You would have gotten probably 2 extra first-round picks from what I understand.
Oh, yeah. If you had the number 1 pick, yeah.
And you would have gotten probably a high first-round pick this year and probably a high first-round pick in the future, depending on what Cam Ward is. Like, does anyone think the Tennessee Titans are going to be good this year? No, I don't. I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so you probably would have gotten. Let's say the New York Giants would do. You probably would have gotten a high first-round pick and another first-round pick. If you hit on, essentially, you get 3 first-round picks in return because you would have gotten the first-round pick this year back too. All right. Let's say you still get Will Campbell. Let's say you moved to 4, you still get Campbell. Because again, the package that the Browns got for Travis Hunter was astronomical. I disagree with a lot of people. I think the Browns did very well. The problem was they picked Mason Graham, who his body has been compared to the Marshmallow Man. He sucks. I think Mason Graham's going to be terrible. But regardless, the reality is they got a massive package. The Patriots probably lost I think probably set them back to 4 to 5 years potentially in terms of elite talent. They're going to have to basically hit every single draft pick. They would have had an abundance of probably high picks. I think they probably would have won a significant amount of games in the future. Maybe not this year, but a significant amount more games in the future. Joe Milton literally cost the Patriots franchise an absurd amount of talent and potentially wins.
We got to go to break, but what do you think was a worse loss? Winning not get the number 1 pick or not getting Jaden Daniels the year before? Like that game that they won on Christmas Eve was the difference between them getting 2 and 3.
Let me think about that. That's a good question.
All right, think about it.
Let me think about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's on the table today.
I'll have an answer for you after break.
Oh, and we do have to do a victory shots today.
On what?
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
All right, save it. God.
Okay.
We need like a music for that.
I was gonna bring up off the air and see if you Want to talk about Caleb Williams a little bit?
No, this is on the air. We need an on the air victory shots today.
Okay. All right.
So we gotta think of some music. We'll be creative.
Okay.
Hey, call in 617-779-0985. I see our friends on YouTube is all 156 now watching, Dan. So we've gone up to 30 something. Let's see if we can continue to get that up there. Dan Lifshatz is here, everybody, and according to our chat, he looks like a cocaine dealer from an '80s movie.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. I agree with
George Young?
That's what somebody said.
It's the blue light glasses, man. I have the orange.
those
ones.
are the
orange ones at night are way worse. I look like a '70s porn star who is not attractive, like the most unattractive '70s porn star you've ever seen.
Porn stars unattractive? Like men?
Ooh, good question. You know what? I gotta be honest.
I don't even know.
I don't really pay attention.
Well, Ron Jeremy, horrible person, ugly as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a very fair point. I can't really argue that one.
Don't answer that question. We got to go to break. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
I like that. I'd buy that jersey.
They did a good job with these shirts. Got the set list on the back.
Do you got a camera back there?
I think, but I don't think it's like programmed to come on when I talk.
It's okay. I wanted to show the people that are listening. So Dan, it looks like Christian Campbell is all out of the lineup today.
Yep.
But he's been working out at first base. And
works for me.
One of the discussions is moving Marcelo Mayer to second.
Works for me. Honestly, if I were them, I would even consider moving Story to second if the arm is at all bothersome at all during the season. I obviously know that he's been fine there, but long term, I'm just talking about at all. It wouldn't even, because again, if you're really thinking about moving on from Trevor Story, Joe, why not just make the move preemptively, move Story to second, and let Meyer just continue to work at short? Now, is that going to make you a little bit worse this year? Yes. So you have to kind of balance of when you want to make that move, if you want to make that move. I'm not saying you necessarily have to do it because obviously Story is the better defensive shortstop at this point. But it is something you have to consider if you're going to preemptively move on from Story, start getting Meyer reps at shortstop at the major league level.
The Joe Murray research team checking in.
Okay.
Raphael Devers has hit more home runs in the last 150 games, 28. Than Trevor Story has since signing his 6-year, $140 million contract, 27.
Not a surprise. Not a surprise. Hated the signing. If you go look at the splits for Story in and out of Coors before he signed the contract, it was the narrative around Trevor Story was that he is a Coors player. That is legitimately it. And the narrative there was terrible. And again, once again, the nerds got another one wrong.
One more, would you rather?
Yeah.
Again, from the Joe Murray research team. Would you rather Jaden Daniels and Gerard Mayo or Drake May with Mike Vrabel?
Damn, that is a good one. I don't think much of Dan Quinn. So I don't think almost anything of Dan Quinn. I think my honest answer is I don't know who. I would need to know who the offensive coordinator is. Is it Cliff Kingsbury? Because if it's Cliff Kingsbury, I'll take Mayo, Kingsbury.
What if it's Josh McDaniels?
No.
Well, then you're out.
Then I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Although I'll tell you this, I don't even think Josh McDaniels could screw up Jane Daniels. He had, without a doubt, the best rookie season historically ever.
Ever.
And that's coming off C.J. Stroud, who had one of the best rookie seasons by a quarterback ever. Jane Daniels had the best rookie season for an NFL quarterback, at least in the past 40 years. I would argue ever, because again, back 40 years ago, running back was the primary position. I would say best year ever, although I know there have been one or two quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl as a rookie. I would still say ever. I think Jane Daniels was phenomenal.
So that's why I ask, was not getting the number one overall pick this year worse than last year?
I would say yes, because I think at this point, I would say yes. I would say not getting number 2 last year was probably worse. You didn't even need number 1, because I do think that despite the fact that I think Drake May is going to be significantly better than I initially thought, I don't know he'll ever beat Jane Daniels. I don't know. Not saying he won't. I am going to take the fat L on my Drake May slander, and I'm going to say flat out was wrong. Let's see. He could be. I think there is he absolutely has the talent to get there, but I would say as of right now, I think that is the worst scenario. Yes, because Jane Daniels had the best, in my opinion, the best rookie quarterback season, or best rookie quarterback, season for a rookie quarterback ever. I can't think of anyone even remotely close. I know C.J. Stroud has been brought up, but
no way.
No, it wasn't even close. It was not even close. And Stroud had arguably one of the best seasons for a rookie quarterback ever, and it's still not remotely close, in my opinion.
All right, Jeremy's in Cambridge. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hey, you guys were talking about Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington actually died on Chris Cornell's birthday, July 20th. They were very good friends.
Okay, I knew there was a connection.
That was the correlation. All right, thank you guys. Bye.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Chris Cornell died. Chester died on Chris Cornell's birthday. Chris Cornell died today.
Gotcha.
Nothing to do with Chester.
Gotcha.
Anything else, Dan?
Same year, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
Both by, they're both deaths were the same.
Yeah. Don't need to get any darker than that right now.
Justin's in Lynn. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Joe, it's Justin. I just want to say
How you doing?
unacceptable where the Red Sox are. It's really unacceptable where the Red Sox are, Joe, and they need to be better, and they're not right now.
Do they win today?
I think they will, but being a 500 team doesn't cut it for me. Joe.
Yeah, it's gonna be a better summer. Dan, Brian Bayo on the mound today. The Red Sox get a big walk-off win. Braves minus 130 today.
Yeah, versus Schwellenbeck, who has been really good so far. I know he has the 3.31, but the FIP and the XFIP have been a little bit better. Yes, the fielding in the FIP, fielding independent pitching. Basically, a better way to determine if the pitching has been good without the fielding. Same with the XFIP, which basically determines in a neutral ballpark would there be home run? Would this be a home run? Would that be a home run? Et cetera, et cetera. So it's the two very good ways to value a pitcher without looking at the ERA. Schwellenbeck has been phenomenal for the Braves so far. He actually got a lot of consideration for the Cy Young early on in the year from the sharp community. There were a lot of sharp bettors who took some long odds on him. I like the over today in this game. Early game, I kind of like the over. I think it's 8.5, whatever it was. I bet it yesterday. So I don't know what the number is now, but I like the over in this game. Currently, 9.5. Holy moly, that moved.
9.5 means over because the pitching's they're gonna blow it after blowing.
Yeah, you want to continue that though?
We got the next hour of the
there you
show
go.
here.
I leave there seriously. I still lean over the.
We just went 57 minutes without talking Celtics, you know that?
Yeah, we did. We do need to talk about Celtics stuff at some point, too. Obviously, I want your take for what they're going to be like next year.
All right.
1
hour down. This hour of the sports has been brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com. Save 15% off an extra after oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I love fading teams off a big win.
Don't blame you.
Because they go out and party with the Wally head. I guess Jaron Duran was in the bathroom when Devers hit the home run.
Yeah.
And then the first thing he did was grab the Wally head.
Of course.
Hate that Wally head. Sometimes I liked it at first.
I don't mind it.
Now I used to like when they put him in the little mail thing, you know?
Yeah, and the cart. Like the cart.
Just win games, will ya?
Seriously.
Win some damn games, then do whatever you want.
Yep, I agree with that.
Get the win chain.
I agree with
there's a turnover chain, right?
Chain.
How about a win chain?
The win chain, yeah.
We got to go to break. It's 98.5 The Sports.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
Rafa.
It was minus 500 a few minutes ago. I haven't taken a look at where he is right now.
Speaking of big odds, dude. The Celtics were minus 800, minus 900 to win the series versus New York. It's funny, Dan, everybody, but I mean everybody, Celtics going to blow them. Matt McCarthy took his belt off on the show and said that this is what they're going to do to New York. And once I heard everybody saying it, I got scared. I saw it go from minus 900 to minus 800.
They closed like 850-ish.
I got scared. My take is that it's a failure. I credit the New York Knicks for being resilient. I do feel that the Celtics generally won 60% of the series. Outplayed them. But I think the fact that when they had to rely on certain people, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Drew Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, and in the end, they couldn't rely on those guys. And I know that people will point towards the coach, which, maybe there were some adjustments you can look back at and say that he didn't make, which is fine. But I do think that if they hit their shots, we're not even having this conversation. And I do know that there are games where you don't hit your shots and you got to adjust. So do I think Thibodeau outcoached Joe Mazzulla? Absolutely. So long story short, Dan, I think that this was a failure. They were the best team this year at times, them in Oklahoma City. And I do think it's an end of an era.
So I agree with a good portion of what you said. I think this series loss is 70% on Joe Mazzulla. I think that Joe Mazzulla needs to be fired. I think that Joe Mazzulla was absolutely pants in this series. And I do think that there are times when NBA coaching does matter. It's rare. It's very rare that NBA coaching does matter, but in close series, at the end of games is where you see coaching matter. And Joe Mazzulla did not have a single good ATO. Not a single one.
What about the one? Let me just throw this one at you.
Sure.
Remember when they ran the same play back-to-back plays?
Where Tatum drove right down the lane?
So the first one he drove in, dunk, right?
It was either layup or dunk.
They didn't call the timeout, which is stupid. And then ran the same exact play where Thibodeau and the team adjusted.
Of course.
But that's on Mazzulla. That is absolutely on Mazzulla.
On Mazzulla, there were, at the end of game one, go look back, they're up what? I think it was like 7 with 40 seconds, of whatever it was left or whatever. It was either game one or game two. 3 straight terrible calls out of timeouts. He did not have, according to SQ, okay, which is shot quality, Joe Mazzulla's Celtics produced the worst shots out of timeout in NBA playoff history.
Wow. Can you send me that?
Yeah,
please.
I don't have it in front of me. I'll get it.
I think that needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, he is the worst coach out of timeouts in the NBA. There is no one worse.
Considering Brad Stevens was so good at it.
There is no one worse than Joe Mazzulla. It is at the point. That is the most valuable where a coach can be. Okay? Just not forget about the scheme and everything else, because all that will end up playing out throughout the series. The value and the highlight of a coach's value comes after timeouts in close games. Joe Mazzulla failed over and over and over. Wow. And by the way, he did the same thing last year. Jaylen Brown, people don't remember this. Jaylen Brown falling away hit the 3 against Indiana. If he doesn't hit that shot, they're 0-1, and who knows what happens in that series. This is, again, that was a lucky shot that he hit. He has never been good in this situation. Never been good. The regression of the shooting this year. Here's another one for you, Joe. You want Joe Murray research team? No team in NBA history has had a lead of 14+ through 4 games and been down in the series. In fact, there has been no team in NBA history to lead 14+ in the third quarter of every game and lose
the series
and be tied in the series.
Wow.
They're the first team to ever be down in the series. Forget about a team to be tied in the series. They were historically bad because the coaching and the adjustments were not there. Yes, 100%. Some of it's on the players. No doubt about it. I don't want to take away blame from the players at all and just say, oh, it's on Mazzulla. He's not on the court. But the reality is that in close games, value comes from your coaches, drawing up plays, setting defenses, doing the right things, and putting guys in position. We just gave Alex Cora such a hard time about not putting guys in the right position after the 5 innings, not making the right decisions in the bullpen, not pulling the right guys, doing the right things. Why is the same standard not being held to Joe Mazzulla? Because he won last year? Great. They had the same team. It's the same team, guys. Okay? They basically didn't have Porzingis in the entire playoffs last year. Same team. They were worse because they didn't execute at all in close games. At all. And yes, they were terrible shooting threes in the first couple games. I get that. And they didn't adjust that strategy either, which again is another Mazzulla issue. Stop shooting the threes if they're not falling. Go inside. The players are to blame. I don't want to put it all on Mazzulla, but a lot of this is bad coaching and bad game management when it's needed the most. That's my take. And by the way, if you ask pretty much any sharp person in the betting community, they'll all tell you Joe Mazzulla should be fired, without a doubt. There is not a single person I know in the NBA community who does not believe that is incredibly sharp, who does not believe that at this point.
All right, so here's the discussion, I think, on Mazzulla. Just facts, not, your opinion is he should be fired.
I agree. I think he should be fired.
So I think the philosophy is a good regular season philosophy.
100%. I agree.
So, I got to take for next year on that, which is why I don't think they should fire him. But if you look back to the Game 7 where they lost with Tatum got hurt.
Yep. Against Miami.
He's lost that game.
Yep.
That series.
Yep.
I called them front runners last year because they were. They literally blew everybody out and everybody tapped out. Jaylen Brown also played to his potential for the first time in his career.
Yep.
And that's not a shot. That wasn't a shot.
No, it's a fair.
He played almost better than Jason Tatum level.
I think
he matched Tatum's level.
I think he was better than Tatum.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but it's
he did that for the first time in his career. He did that.
Yep.
And nobody beat them. Nobody could beat them.
I agree.
This year they put up numbers in the regular. They were the best road team of all time. Mm-hmm. They were great. They were a great team this year, and it is a failure. But if we had just look at Joe Mazzulla's body of work, year 1 he got them to a 7-game series and lost to an 8th seed.
Yep.
Won the championship maybe in spite of him.
Okay.
This year had a great regular season, and every close game they lost.
Yep.
Houston, if you remember, he puts Luke Cornett out there. They had a miscommunication, and Amen Thompson went to the basket, and they won the game.
Yep.
They've had a lot of games. Remember, every time they went on a road trip and came back in the first game, they'd lose. Every game. They lost by 20-something points to the Lakers. Remember the Mavs made the Luka trade? They lost by 30-something the next night.
Got blown out in that game, yep.
But that's the coach not having them ready to go. Like, that to me that's coaching. I also think that they went a little too long with Porzingis. They tried. I don't even think we know what it is yet with Porzingis. Did he say? It's got to be some sort of internal is it respiratory?
There's some rumors out there. I don't want to put it out there. I don't think that's fair.
Well,
I don't think that's
health,
fair.
so we can't really talk.
Yeah,
about it. But if it's respiratory, like the guy gave you nothing. They relied on him and gave him nothing. And when they were blowing leads, they had him out there defensively.
I don't think they had a choice.
Well, this is one of my so you say 70% coaching.
I say the reason they lost this series because they blew it at pretty much every single close game. They blew it, which is coaching. Yep. That comes down to coaching.
I think that when I said rely on too many guys, their front court was bad, and people don't want to hear this, Dan.
I said last year they need to get a third big, and I was told how insane I am for that.
No,
team. Which good team has 3 bigs? I mean, the Thunder.
Do you know who the Celtics big is? It's Jason Tatum. He's not a big.
He's their best rebounder, no doubt about it.
Thank you.
Yep.
He's their front court. If he is their big man leading the team in rebounds every night, I have battled with hosts on this station who want to tell me this, and that, and all year long, all I've told you is their biggest problem is rebounding and points in the paint.
Yep, I completely agree with that.
They got smoked in the first quarter. Do you know of the first 33 points in the previous game? And I'm not even giving analysis on the last game because they got their asses kicked. But they gave up 23 points on second chance points off offensive rebounds.
Yep.
And I give Karl Anthony Towns credit because normally he likes to sit out on the 3-point line and is soft.
Which is embarrassing.
That's right, my point.
That guy, Jimmy Butler is right about that. That guy is a soft little you-know-what.
And
he sucks.
They let him beat him.
Oh, not only did they let him beat him, they let him physically dominate them. That's the most embarrassing part about it, in my opinion, is that Karl Anthony Towns, who if he played in the 70s or 80s, would be bleeding on the floor because he wouldn't be able to get up. He'd be crying so much from getting an elbow in the face. That guy physically dominated you. And honestly, despite the fact that he's soft, credit to him. He took over.
Exactly.
Credit to him.
I can't say
I hate him, but credit to him.
I credit New York so much for being resilient. Brunson was the best fourth quarter player in all of the NBA.
Sure, but Thibodeau's the one who made that happen. Thibodeau's the engine.
And you know what else he did? He played his guys the entire third quarter. I thought they'd be gassed in the fourth quarter.
I did not like that decision.
They played those guys till 7 minutes left.
I thought they were going to pull an Aaron Gordon. I was like, you're asking for an Aaron Gordon injury. There's no reason to have Aaron Gordon on the floor at that time. You had the injury. I did not like that decision. But outside of that decision, Thibodeau was it wasn't even close. He was significantly better than Joe Mazzulla, who made no adjustments.
So the Mazzulla thing, again, I think there's a body of work where you can say there's been 2 failures in his 3 years. They won 1 championship, maybe in spite of him, maybe. They were the best team. Nobody got in their way.
I don't think it would have mattered last year, but yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It might not have mattered.
Can we also revisit something that I called you about last year? Do you remember the phone call I called you about? The Celtics last year had the easiest path to victory by spread in NBA history by a large margin.
But they couldn't control that, though.
No, but that kind of goes hand in hand.
So you're putting an asterisk on
No, not at all. Not at all.
I didn't know if I got the asterisk. I got to break down.
That kind of goes in the Mazzulla couldn't blow that one because the path was relatively easy.
Got you.
Not putting an asterisk.
So he didn't get in the way. He couldn't get in the way.
He couldn't get in the way
because of how easy the path
because
was.
of how easy things were for them. Yeah. 100%.
Just no asterisk. No asterisk.
0 asterisk. They won that fair and square. They deserved the title. They were the best team.
The argument could be that he's also gotten in their way for 2 other ones.
My argument is that when it comes to crunch time, he is right now, in my opinion, one of, if not the worst, NBA head coach out of timeouts. And you now have tangible proof in multiple series that this is now the case. They were favored. They were minus 500, minus 600 against Miami, and they closed 850 against New York. Minus 2.5 games was like minus 120. Okay, and again, if you don't understand that, basically means they were won the series 4-1 is minus 120 in the series. Okay, they should have dominated the series. This should not have been close. If New York wins game 1, I get it. Close game, whatever. Fine, it happens. You should have been up 2-1 going in New York. And now we're talking about a completely different series at bare minimum. Like, maybe the Tatum injury still happens, whatever. But you should have had bare minimum game 7 here in Boston. And the fact that you couldn't even get it to game 7 in the situation that you were in, it's not just about shooting. The shooting was bad, no doubt about it. I don't want to, tell you it wasn't, because it was. But the coaching matters in small moments in the playoffs. Not in the regular season, but small moments in the playoffs. Okay? That's why Doc Rivers always is considered a choker. Because Doc Rivers
Rivers couldn't get in the way of the new big 3 either, right?
Doc Rivers out of timeouts, Joe. Was what generally considered one of the worst coaches in his era. Joe Mazzulla is following in those footsteps. I don't care if you like the guy or not. You can tell me he's great. You can tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine. Fair game to you. You can't tell me that Joe Mazzulla is a good coach out of timeouts. He's not. And you now have basically a 3-year sample in the playoffs where it shows when it matters and when the games are close, Joe Mazzulla doesn't know how to call the right thing. Not defensively, not offensively. Don't forget, the Knicks abused them defensively over and over and over out of those timeouts in the final seconds. It's not just Mazzulla calling timeouts. When the Knicks called timeouts, The Celtics could not get a line defensively and did not have the right personnel on the floor. They kept putting, guys in the wrong positions. Why is Cornette not out there at home? Cornette was their, again, I hated Luke Cornette.
Best front court player.
I hated Luke Cornette. Yeah. I thought that was so stupid they were relying on Luke Cornette to be their great player. But my Lanta, Luke Cornette was their best. The development of Luke Cornette, I'll give Joe Mazzulla and the coaching staff credit on him. He was phenomenal this year. Obviously, in New York is not going to be as good, but in Boston, absolutely phenomenal player. I was wrong. I was also wrong there. But the reality is that just not putting guys in the right position over and over and over again. I don't know what to tell you. I think Joe Mazzulla, as good of a head coach he is, yada, 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 in the regular season, I think that's as bad as he is in the playoffs.
That brings up next year. We got an update on Jaylen Brown. There's a trend that's been happening that I want to talk to Dan about when it comes to Mazzulla. And what should the Celtics do next season? We'll get into all that coming up next. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
I'm glad that the interns come back. They deserve a little shine. They do, dude. The interns do a lot.
By the
When
way,
I was an intern here, I did nothing.
Well,
except answers.
You answered phones, and everyone loved you because you were angry.
You got to separate yourself from. You have to do something to separate yourself. That was my separation.
That's true.
Yeah, you have to do something to separate yourself.
That is true. On the night show, we need the help. So if you can cut video, we have interns for the summer, everybody. But yes, if you can cut video, make graphics, and eventually contribute to the show, you can use that to get a job because all of our interns have jobs.
It's worth it.
Now, my first advice to you would be not to get into the business.
I would say don't not get into the business. I would say don't expect to make a career out of the business. How about that?
Don't care about money.
Yeah. Well, you can care about money. I care about money.
I care about money, too.
I would tell you that betting is a good way to make money if you know what you're doing in certain situations, and you can learn that through that. But yeah, they're not going to learn it from being an intern.
It reminds me of, was it Happy Gilmore? When he finds out that the girl that he likes, she's only with him because he makes money, because that's what the girl told him.
Are you excited for the next one?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you know why? Because I don't expect it to be as good.
Okay, I was kind of hyped about it, and people were just kind of dumping on it, and I was like, all right, well,
we get Paige Spurniak.
I know it's gonna suck.
We
Yeah,
get Sydney Sweeney.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either of them.
You know?
Yeah, that's a win-win.
Some great golfers, some great golfing.
It's a win-win.
People.
It's a win-win.
Yes, I am excited. Dan.
Okay.
I need something to look for. I haven't
seen a movie in theaters in a long time, and I kind of hope that there will be a place in theaters to see that.
I did an event with 98 Found the Sports Hub, and I did the Eras tour.
Yeah.
In Methuen, Jeff. At the Loop.
The Williams Stomping Grounds, huh?
I used to frequent that place all the time when I was younger. Yeah.
So imagine meet Joe Murray at the Methuen movie theater to watch the Eras tour. That was an actual promo.
That's crazy.
People showed up in bunches.
Oh, I bet.
There was a cardboard cutout of Taylor.
You're the guy locally. You are the
local guy.
You are the guy. I mean,
well, it's because nobody else will do it.
Well, to be fair,
but I'll take the money.
Outside of Zolak, I think, and Beto, I'd say it's hard to connect with like a local person on the station.
Well, Dan, I appreciate.
I think, in my opinion, you would be my go-to local guy.
Remember, we did the Bankroll Boy tailgate.
Yes,
and it happened to rain so bad that our tent fell through.
Yep.
And then these guys let us basically hang out with them.
Yep. It was a great time.
That was at the Ford dealership right there.
Yep. Rodham Ford.
And then people actually that was a horrible day.
Oh yeah.
They played the Cowboys. I think they won, right?
I don't remember the score of that game. I just remember it was sloppy.
We tailgated.
Yep.
It rained. We had Bankroll Boy t-shirts.
Yep.
Not those are the pre.
We were both much larger back then.
Oh yeah. We did get a parking pass. Thank you.
We did. Thank you, Station.
And yes, we ended up tented in with heaters and bathrooms.
It was a fun time.
It was very fun. Let's get back to crapping on Joe Mazzulla real quick.
Okay.
So I think Joe Mazzulla, his philosophy, Mazzulla ball can work, and does work during a regular season. But thinking ahead here, Dan, I'd keep him next year.
Okay.
Not because of the money or anything like that.
Yep.
This is my take. Doesn't mean I'm right. But we got news yesterday that Jaylen Brown was playing on a torn meniscus.
Partially torn, right?
Partially torn.
Yeah.
Whatever. Partially torn, whatever.
Yep.
By the way, balls for playing. He tapped out, though. Anyway, story for another day.
Yeah, I give him credit for the game. For Game 5, man.
Six fouls.
He was phenomenal in that game.
He fouled out and then went home. Because that's what the Celtics did to everybody, right? They'd make them tap out.
He's the only one who showed up in Game 6. I'm not going to jump.
I'm not dumping on Jaylen.
Okay. A little bit. A little bit.
My take is, I've already said this, but I think the Celtics should sit both Tatum and Brown all next year. Let them get healthy. Don't even have them part of 2026. I think you should try to develop Baylor Shireman. You have to get your finances in order. You got to let Pritchard play a little bit more. Maybe you get a draft pick that can contribute. I'm not saying tanking, Dan. I'm saying maybe get your finances in order.
Develop.
Try to get into the lottery again. Not tanking. But, the the Mavs just had they were one of the worst chances to get the number one pick and got it, which is smelly.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to in a minute. But I know it's about championships here, right? It's about championships. It's all you hear about. I think next year they should sit Brown and Tatum out, or at least be an end-of-year option. But I'm saying out, get your finances back in order, get back into the lottery, and in 2027, you still have Tatum and Brown together with White, with developing players. Porzingis money comes off the books. Then you go reload and go for 2027.
So let me ask you this. What do you think is going to happen this offseason if you're putting on your GM cap? Because I honestly think they have two options here. One, I think the Drew Holiday contract is going to be extremely difficult to move. I don't know a lot of contenders that are going to want to take the contract at this point. He looked horrendous in this series. There were spurts of times where he looked okay, but for the overwhelming majority, he looked terrible. So I don't know. Maybe another team will take that. You're not going to get anything for that. I think you're going to have to send a contract to move the Porzingis contract. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of teams. Now, again, remember, he was coming off arguably his best season ever with the Wizards, right? And there was two teams who were interested in him, the Celtics and the Utah Jazz, Danny Ainge. That's it. No one else in the league wanted him. And my kind of take on that was I hated the trade because they gave up too much because they were bidding against themselves, and I thought that he was going to get hurt in the playoffs. Turns out it didn't matter because their team was a freaking steamroller last year, and it didn't matter that he got hurt. And he gave you a little bit in the finals and whatever. That was the end of it. I just don't know, again, how much you're going to get it for either of those guys, if you're going to have to use a contract to move either of those guys. But I think, bare minimum, you have to get rid of both of them, Joe. Bare minimum.
I think the easiest guy to move on from is Sam Hauser. And not because of what they have coming. He's a $10 million shooter in the league.
3-and-D.
So his money accounts essentially up to $20 million.
Yep.
Could you trade him and get a player in return $5 million or less to save $15 million? Is it worth the $15 million? Probably. That's if you can move Holiday.
See, I think from basically everything you're hearing from the PE stuff, man, because this is not, just to make it very clear, this is not one guy who owns the Celtics. It's the PE firm. Make it very clear. The PE firm is going to own the Celtics, not one guy. I think they're going to cut everyone. I think you're going to see a complete teardown this offseason. I think it's a perfect time to do it with the Tatum injury. I think Holiday is gone. I think Porzingis is gone. I think Hauser's gone. And I think there's a real chance that we see Derek White gone too.
Ooh. The reason... So, could you get a boatload for Derek White?
I don't think so. Well, I think you get a decent amount.
We got to explain this to people real quick.
Sure.
If the Celtics are trading anyone, they can't match contracts. So if you trade a $30 million player, you can't take back a $30 million player.
Nope.
You can take back a $20 million player. You only save $10 million.
Correct.
Which is savings, right?
Yep.
So if you hypothetically trade, like people are using Jaylen Brown, right? Now he's got the knee injury. You can't trade him. But let's just hypothetically use it. Jaylen Brown's $100 million on the books because of the tax implications.
Yep.
You, therefore, if you traded Jaylen Brown, you can't get a player worth Jaylen Brown.
100%.
So you got to keep him.
Right.
The Derek White thing, I feel the same way. He makes 20, let's call it $30 million, okay? $28 million. If you trade Derek White, you have to take a player that's $10 million.
I think there's really.
You have to save $18 million.
Or you can trade him for draft picks.
The draft pick thing would be another thing. But him and Tatum are boys. I just don't feel like they're going to do that.
He's $28 million against the cap this year. Next year, he's $30 million.
That's probably.
Which means $60 million.
I think that's a pretty good deal for him, believe it or not.
I'm telling you right now, they're gonna cut a lot of salary. It would not shock me if they trade Derek White to get out of a contract.
Like White and
Porzingis.
Because there you go. That's $60 120 million.
100%.
But you can't take back the money.
As someone who works in finance and as who works for a company owned by a PE firm, and as my father has been a CFO for years and works at PE firms, let me tell you what PE firms do when they come in, they purchase something. Okay, because it has not been talked enough about in the station. PE firms recoup their costs. How? They cut everything. They cut anything that they deem non-essential. That is how PE firms usually come in. They recoup costs by cutting everything that they deem non-essential. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and arguably Derek White are all going to be deemed non-essential next year. As much as I do think that Sam Hauser would be a nice piece to trade, I think realistically they're going to be looking at cutting money, and I think the best way to do that is to trade those 3 contracts. Find a team to take either Porzingis or Holiday for free, basically. Maybe like a conditional second-round pick. Basically, you're dumping him for nothing. And then probably trading the other 2 in a package deal for either a couple players back and some other draft picks, and then moving those players on too. Maybe non-guaranteed contracts, etc. I personally think, my opinion, Joe, you will not see any of those 3 guys on the Celtics next year. I think all 3 are gone. I think Derek White right now is probably at the peak value. He's 30 years old or 31 years old. Okay, he turns 31 in July. He's going to be 33 by the time Jason Tatum is back. He's going to be making $32 million. He'll have 1 year left on his contract, which is a player option at $34 million, which my guess is he would probably take at that time. His value is never going to be higher. I think they're going to trade him. They're not winning next year.
The only way I would trade Derek White is to move on from one of those contracts.
And so I think there's a realistic chance all 3 of those guys are on next year. And I think, Joe, you don't even need to bench Jaylen Brown because the meniscus thing.
He can be back by Christmas. Yeah.
No, he'll be back way before that. 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
Is the injury usually? Yeah. He might be back to start the season.
My take's a little far-fetched.
It's not far-fetched. It's because I understand what you're saying.
Like, I'm thinking of the Spurs, which on this date, so many years ago, got the number 1 overall pick when they won a championship. Then David Robinson got hurt.
Yep.
They got Tim Duncan and won 5 more championships.
Yep.
So, like, can you take a step back to take a step forward? It's true. Like, I don't know if you could ask Jaylen Brown.
I don't think
to sit out for the entire year.
I think he's going to want to prove himself.
Yes. All right. So hypothetically, Brown's back, right?
Yep.
Is it Pritchard, Brown, backcourt?
I think so.
Shireman maybe at the 3?
I think it's Hauser at the 3.
So you'd keep Hauser at $10 million.
If I'm dumping the other 3, I'm keeping Hauser. Yep. I'm keeping Hauser because I'm trying to emulate.
Well, $10 million, he's a player now.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like he's a
Pritchard and Hauser, in my opinion, have extremely valuable contracts. I wouldn't want to deal.
And
with
they
them.
have 0 front court unless it's. I mean, Kornet can't play those type of minutes, but could he be a backup big?
Maybe you're bringing back Al Horford on a 1-year contract,
which isn't a lot of money.
Right, not a lot of money, right? And I think you're probably looking at Luke Kornet, Kada. Those type of guys,
yeah. Maybe they draft like a Kalkbrenner or somebody like that.
Yeah, but again, I'm looking to bring in some guys who I can look to deal with the trade.
Have you seen any of those names at center? By the way,
I have not. No.
It's a vomit list.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Look, here's the reality. I don't think the Celtics will be competitive until 2026. And I don't mean next year, the 26-27. Sorry, I mean the 27 season. I don't think the Celtics will be competitive in 2027. Not the 26 and 27. Maybe if Jason Tatum comes back in January. I still don't think they're going to have nearly enough. I think you're going to need a reset, and you're going to need Brad Stevens to spin some magic. He's going to have to go out there. He's going to have to find the next Derek White. That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to make the next Derek White trade where he brings in the undervalued guard who the league doesn't like or doesn't value as much, and you're going to have to make that next deal.
Any chance that, to go with what you're saying, I feel like you mentioned Brad Stevens. Moving on from White is going to upset the apple cart with Tatum, but like Tatum, you're not here next year.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters.
And the Mazzulla thing is Tatum's guy.
Yeah,
it is odd that their philosophy of shooting threes when your two best players aren't the best three-point shooters. It is a little bit odd, right?
Jason Tatum, and again, he was phenomenal. Again, I don't want to kill him.
Tatum's a great player. He's not a great three-point shooter.
He's one of the worst three-point shooters in the past 3 years.
Jaylen Brown
in the NBA playoffs
isn't really a three-point shooter either.
He's not.
He's developed into a much better shooter.
But legitimately, Tatum is one of the worst three-point shooters in the NBA playoffs the last 3 years. I think he is the worst in terms of minimum
I think he's like
attempts.
32% or something like that.
It's lower than that. It's like 20. It was like 20. It was like 25% or something like that going into, I think, it was either game 3 or game 4. He was the worst of the qualified guys in last 3 years.
I would just say this: if you're a big out there, you can play on this team. And I don't know. I'm not like the bigs that are available are like Brook Lopez, who might be able to play on this team.
Again, I'm looking for development. I want to take chances on younger guys and see if I can develop them because I'm not winning anything next year. So I'm going to try and look for development. Where's the next Luke Cornett? Who can I find?
Can Mazzulla develop?
I think that's the one thing that he can do. I give him full credit for Luke Cornett. Changing him from a three-point shooter, which is wildly funny that Cornett was a three-point shooter and was terrible, and now basically doesn't shoot.
Well, they
threes.
developed guys. Hauser developed. I was undrafted.
Pritchard
was a late first-round pick.
Really good development out of Oregon. Pritchard was not the type of shooter.
Kata's didn't play at all and really didn't make an impact, but for where he's come, he's been a development player.
I think next year's a development year, and I do think the one thing that this coaching staff has done really well the past couple of years, one of the things that they've done is they've developed these end-of-bench guys. I mean, Pritchard won Sixth Man of the Year this year. Who, a couple years ago, if you told me that Peyton Pritchard would have won Sixth Man of the Year, I would have laughed you out of the conversation. They've done a very good job developing some of these guys. The problem is you can't rely on those guys in New York, and we just saw that in Game 6. You can't rely on those guys to be the guy in New York. So you're going to have to find another piece to go with Jaylen and Jason, assuming that he's going to be back at close to full health and relatively the same player. I'm projecting here, but I'm hoping that he's going to be relatively close to the same player. I'm hoping that they're going to be able to find Brad Stevens has done a good job. He's going to be able to find the next guy, and Joe Mazzulla, who I would personally like to fire, but I know is not going anywhere. Is able to develop the next group of these younger players that they've done a really good job developing. That's what I hope.
All right. There's a lot of trade rumors going around. I got a take for you. We got to go to break. You notice the trend in the NBA with winning head coaches and what happens to them?
Yeah, they're gone.
We get into that. We'll do that next. And I read a trade today that I thought was interesting. We'll do that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
We have 5 minutes because I'm trying to stay on the clock.
Okay.
Me and the clock. Joe versus the clock has been a battle.
Fun segment of the over-under show for a while.
Long time.
You usually lost that fight to me.
Do you know what was funny? Somebody yesterday, I did a card show in Woburn. And some guy goes, you know what? I want to give out bets every once in a while. And whenever I say the bet, I always say ring the bell. I didn't even know I was on with you yesterday, by the way, when this happened.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know I was going to see you today.
Yep.
And some guy goes, man, every time I want to give a bet, and I say it out loud, I always say ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
And I go, wow, I'm really glad that. Do you think they're still bankrolled 18-9 Patriots win over the Cowboys?
Okay, that's right. Yeah. It was I told you, low-scoring, brutally cold game. Yeah.
Brutal game.
Brutal game.
But I had T-shirts made, and the idea, I don't know who came up with the idea, but the idea was just our faces. And I don't know why I went with it. I just was like, let's do it.
So funny.
So I reached out to some guy, do you think you can just do our faces on a T-shirt? And he goes, I'll try, man. I'll see if I can find it. I have it somewhere, right?
So funny.
But it was like, and then the station ended up making a nice Bankroll Boys logo.
Yep.
And all that stuff. But
again, good run.
It was a great 70. I don't. The other shirts are gone. The ones that I made no longer. But I'm curious if there's like a room back there. I wonder what we could find. One day I found some stuff from the other stations that no longer exist.
Oh.
Which I'm sure that's why it's there. But,
yep. Dan. Again, good run.
Speaking of good runs, coaches that win championships get fired. Mike Malone's available. I would at least make a phone call.
I mean, to me, that's the guy. He got fired because him and the GM had a power struggle. Like, that's the guy. There's no power struggle here. You know, Brad Stevens has already won the power struggle, so there's no power struggle that would go on here. Brad Stevens would win. Malone's a phenomenal head coach.
He's a badass too.
Yep,
fiery.
I'm in on him. I would love that. I would love that. I would love to fire Mazzulla for him. Would love that. Sorry, Joe.
It's okay.
Just being honest. Now you. Joe
Mazzulla.
Sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay. It's okay. What's Sam Cassell?
No. Again, Cassell's fine.
You'd want to go with someone from the outside.
I'd want to go with someone from the outside.
Well, I do think Mike Malone's the best coach available.
I do too.
Frank Vogel would be interesting to me because of the relationship with Stevens.
I'm not a fan of him. Again.
So Mazzulla or Vogel? Won a championship with the Lakers.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
But did he manage the big personality?
I'd rather have Mazzulla because I think it keeps Tatum happy, honestly. Okay. I don't think either of them are very good.
Is there a chance the Knicks lose the series, which I'm betting again? I'm betting the Pacers, by the way.
Okay.
If Thibodeau loses, does he get fired?
No.
Seriously?
No. Not a prayer. He just
you don't think that they're
there's
favorites to go to the final.
There's a 0% chance he gets fired. He just beat the Celtics basically through coaching.
So if they lost a gentleman's sweep, he's not even on the hot seat?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. See, Mike Malone's from Brooklyn. He's like from New York or the Bronx or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I already had, it's funny, I already had Thibodeau fired and Mike Malone is the head coach of the New York Knicks. I really jumped the gun, man.
I think you can take that one back. I think Thibodeau is there to stay for a while.
Somebody wants a Bankroll Boy shirt. And go look on the website. There might be one.
I can't imagine they're still
I don't know. I mean, they sold so fast. Maybe they're on.
Do you know what's funny is that we tried to get Bankroll Boys shirts after they put them up and they were gone.
Yeah, we didn't even get them.
I never got one.
Yeah.
Ever. The only one I have is from you.
That's right. Well, my guy.
It's all right.
Over at College Hype, I connected him with the station, and there are new 98.5 shirts going, so I hope I can get some of those.
Nice.
That'd be cool. You want one?
No.
I'll save you one. Okay. If I find it, what are you now though? I'm a 4X comfortable, but I Winnie the Pooh a 3X.
I am a tight XL now.
So I got you a double X. You'd be good to go.
Okay, yeah, double XL will be good. I'm a tight XL, so
and you can wash it a couple of times.
I've been wearing stuff that I wore freshman, sophomore year.
No, for real though. How much weight have you lost?
170-ish pounds. Yeah. To be fair, I gained about 5 to 8 back during the winter. So
you lost 170 pounds?
Yeah.
Without drugs?
Yes. I did not use Ozempic or anything.
I know.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Yeah. No, I changed my lifestyle. I had a kid and wanted to be there for the kid and changed everything. Yeah. And now it's getting warm again. I can go outside and walk a lot more and do all the things.
Take the shirt off, baby, at the beach.
I ground every day. I put my feet on the ground. I ground and take the shirt off, get some sun every day. So my neighbors are probably hating it.
You ground?
Every day.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Grounding?
Grounding.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
Have you, Jeff?
Yeah. There's a legit scientific thing. It completely changes the scientific molecular structure of your cells.
Well, I will just say this. I lost 75 pounds.
You looked.
Thank you.
You looked.
But Dan, you lost 100 more pounds than I did.
I know. I was really.
Think about that.
I know. Yeah.
Dude, I was over 400 and something pounds.
Yeah, I know.
What were you at?
I was around there.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I was around. I was 4.
See, and I know this is relating to everybody.
You were over 4 bills. Over 420.
Yeah, okay. I was over 440. Okay, so I didn't. Yeah. The thing is, you don't. The scare, and then this is me being real. You don't know. You don't realize it.
No, I don't. I did not realize it at all.
You don't realize it.
No.
It's not a don't take care of yourself thing. Yeah, you let yourself go, no 100%. Doubt about it. But for me, I one day got on a scale when I was at a doctor's office, and I went, oh boy. And my doctor was like, you're very healthy for a very, very heavy man.
Yep.
And I said,
I heard that a lot too.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I heard that a lot too. And then, I needed to drop weight. So I changed the whole lifestyle.
I just gave up sugar.
I gave up a lot more than that. But
you gave up everything. What do you only eat meat?
I do a little bit both. I do. It's kind of a combination of keto, but with a few other things. But I don't eat certain things anymore. So I won't eat any pork, which sucks. I love pork.
So no pork, huh?
No pork at all.
No, none.
No pork.
So much for the clock, but go ahead. This is interesting.
Right? So the only thing I drink is water. I have salt water mostly.
So just water, nothing,
nope.
Carbohydrated, no seltzers.
I don't drink anymore.
No alcohol.
Which sucks. I've missed drinking. I don't drink anymore. I just have water, mostly salt water. You put some lemon juice in there, and it's some organic lemon juice, and it basically tastes like Gatorade without the sugar. So I have that mostly, and I just organic steak, A2 butter. I basically order all the stuff online, whatever, and organic veggies.
Is it expensive to live that way?
Yeah, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Organic veggies, organic potatoes, porzingas, a couple of those things. But for the most part, I really don't eat all that much. I just have a lot of protein, a lot of veggies, and it's been phenomenal for me. Everyone says don't eat red meat, don't use butter. It's the exact opposite of actually what everything you're taught is. Pretty much everything is the exact opposite of what's actually supposed to be. You're supposed to eat red meat. You're supposed to eat, and again, you don't have to just eat red meat. You can do other things. Everyone is kind of able to do whatever they want, but you're supposed to eat butter. You're supposed to eat red meat. You're not supposed to eat no seed oil. That's the other big part. No seed oils at all. I will not do seed oil. So no, I don't do oils at all. I don't do olive oil either, but no seed oils, especially. Seed oils are so bad for you, dude. Horrendously bad. That if you just drop seed oils, you'd probably drop 50 pounds yourself.
Grounding, also known as earthing.
Yep.
is a practice where your body makes direct contact with the Earth's surface.
Yep.
The contact could be through walking barefoot,
I don't do that.
touching the ground, or using specialized devices to connect to the Earth.
Can lay down on the ground or just like take your shoes off in the backyard. I don't walk like on the sidewalk. I'm not like a caveman.
The theory has positive effects on your health and well-being.
It does change the molecular structure of your cells. 100%.
Molecular
structure of your cells.
with
yes.
Lifshatz.
Yes.
This is happening today.
Yep.
Someone wrote the Bankroll Boys are back. And lighter than ever. We're going to take a break. You listen to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On
That's right.
The podcast song was Cash Rules Everything Around Me.
100%. With, you know who did the voiceover work for that?
Is it Sean Silver?
Sean
That's right.
Silver, Mr. Sean Silver.
He does instead of the big show, he says Joe Show. Well, it's the Joe. That's Sean.
I know. I'm not surprised.
Wow, I haven't heard Blowing Money Fast since the Bankroll Boys show.
It's been a minute.
Or is it the Over Under show?
Over Under show.
I apologize.
Whatever it is.
Well, on this Sunday, you get Dan Lifshatz here, everybody. He's here. He's live, giving sports takes. Giving
no bets. 0 bets so far.
Giving financial advice.
Careful. Careful.
Well, not that kind of financial advice. As far as the Celtics and their salary cap.
Fair enough.
We've done baseball.
Yep.
We've done basketball.
Sadly.
Patriots win totals 8.5 right now.
Ooh. Okay. Is this where we're going?
That's where we're going.
All right, let's do it.
We can do the schedule if you want.
Sure.
I'll just say this, Dan. When the look-ahead opening line came out, the Patriots were 7.5.
Yep.
It got bumped up to 8.5 minus 140.
Yep.
Full transparency, I'm on the under.
Me too.
Do I think their schedule is soft? Yes.
Yes.
Do I think they'll be better than last year?
Yes.
But the jury's still out for me on Josh McDaniels. Can they stop the run? They could not stop the run last year. So I'm just giving you like things on the field. I don't know if they can stop the run. They have a whole new linebacking crew, which maybe is an upgrade. They brought in Milton Williams, who can't play every down. He's a big boy, though.
Yep.
Him and Christian Barmore, if healthy, which he said he was.
Yep.
That could be something there.
Yep.
But they have a defensive-minded coach in here now with a lot of guys he knows, with ties who were all former head coaches, which I kind of like. I just am not high on a defensive-minded coach with a Josh McDaniels run team when Josh McDaniels has not been successful without Tom Brady and or Belichick ever. Rams, he failed.
One season with Mac Jones, everyone looks at.
But he was with Bill.
I think Josh. You know
what has he done without Bill or Brady?
I'm the biggest Josh McDaniels hater in the world. You don't need to tell me. I think the guy is an absolute buffoon. I don't think he has any idea what he's doing.
He sucked with the Raiders. He was horrible with Sam Bradford.
But Joe, he was a head coach with the Raiders. Why does that matter? I don't know, because he ran the effing offense. That's why it matters.
They smoked cigars when he left. And I'm telling you right now, when the schedule came out this week and it was Raiders versus Patriots, I know Max Crosby started doing push-ups right away.
Oh, yeah.
And if I'm Will Campbell, you better watch film on that guy now. And if I was Will Campbell, I'd be having nightmares of Max Crosby in my sleep.
I don't think Will Campbell has nightmares about anyone. That guy thinks he's a stud, which he may very well be. I'm hopeful.
Oh, you're saying he thinks he's good?
Yeah. He thinks he's good. I'm hopeful he's as good as he thinks he is, because he kind of sucked last year at LSU, just to be honest with you. Go back. I know he didn't allow sacks. Guess what? He got blown up on the run quite a bit. Go back and watch last year. I'm not a Will Campbell guy. Never have been. Not a Will Campbell guy. Just go back and watch him versus USC last year. Just opening game.
I think,
forget about South Carolina. That South Carolina game was the worst I've ever seen.
Dan, I'll say this to you. I'm critical of them taking a tackle at 4.
I just don't think they had a choice. Who are you going to go? Who was there that you wanted?
No, nobody.
Mykel Williams is my guy in the draft. So I love Mykel Williams. I would have gone Mykel Williams.
So I only really remember him against Syracuse last year when McCord went off. But he on the other end though, he would actually keep him in the game.
Dude, he's just a monster. He breaks up. He pressures everything. I loved him. So I'm a big Mykel Williams guy, but there wasn't a lot of guys who went, I want that guy. Like I thought, like everyone would love the Ted McMillan thing. I still don't believe in the Ted McMillan thing. Like, I know Jed Fish on the record said a lot of nice things about him. Off the record, Jed Fish was saying terrible things about him. Like, there were not a lot of guys in this year's draft who you were like, ooh, he's a stud. I want him at 4. Like, it was a 3-player draft at the top, and then a whole bunch of dudes down to like 15. They were pretty much all in the same, grade.
So you're telling me that a rookie left tackle, an aging right tackle, a new center that's aging,
who is not good, that kid is not good.
Onwenu, who got a big contract because he fell into it because they needed it, and really no clue yet about Cole Strange or any of the drafts from last year, such as who's the big Landon Robinson or
Landon Robinson,
who's the other tackle there? Caden Wallace, who I think might be able to play. We'll find out. A lot of question marks there. The Stephon Diggs, does he start the year? I don't think he does, Dan.
I do not believe it either. I know that everyone's touting him. Oh, he's going to be on track. I'll believe it when I see it, man. Like that. That's an injury that, again, there was a couple guys who had the same injury and basically the same timing, and they all came back after week 4 this year.
That's right. Even if you want to really look into it, Kendrick Bourne got a torn Achilles in October of last year and came back October of this year. So it was literally 1 year coming back from that one.
And he kind of stunk.
Oh, my God.
He kind of stunk.
So they brought in Mac Hollins, who I think will be a fine veteran. He'll be fine.
He's a fourth. He's a fourth guy who can have 1 or 2 big games a year, and that's great if you get them out of him,
Douglas, he's going to have well, listen, at least one thing we know about Josh McDaniels, he uses the slot receiver.
I agree.
So
I think Douglas will probably have a pretty good year, but again, can you even afford to use Douglas out of the slot knowing your wide receiver lineup right now? Like, are you gonna consistently use Kayshon Boutte as your outside guy? Boutte, whatever. He was Boutte, I think, at LSU, right? That's what he's called, Boutte. But you're going to use him outside, or you use Kyle Williams outside. I think, lining up. I thought Williams worked out of the slot a lot at Washington State. So you can't use him and Douglas out of the slot unless you're going 4 sets. So I don't know what they're going to do there either.
Yeah. Well, let's go over the schedule on the other side here. We'll take a break because I know I went a little late there, but
sure.
My take is under. The other take is that high expectations.
We always just talk about this on the show.
Don't follow the steam.
Teams who have bloated expectations almost always go under. Do you remember those teams were last year, Joe?
The Bears,
under. Falcons, under. Anyone else remember?
Cowboys
under. Texans. Under. 0-3. Under.
See, this is why you would have to listen to our show to get that type of insight, that generally teams that are highly bet or highly coveted to have good years generally don't.
Yep.
All right. We'll have more on this coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jeff coming in with, is that a perfect circle, Judith? You saw them last week?
The Snoo Arena up in Manchester.
Oh, was that with, that was Maynard's birthday?
Yes.
Do you know who Maynard is,
Yes.
Dan? Thank you. Do you know the band members of Tool?
I do not. If you told me if you put them out on the street, we'd never know it.
How about you, Jeff? Do you know any of the band members?
Jeff, do you know them?
A couple, yes.
Just a few.
Do you know their name?
Do you know?
One of them's Adam Jones.
Yes.
Do you know like their burgers then?
No.
Just kidding.
And he plays what instrument?
Was he the drummer? I can't think right now.
What was his name again?
Adam Jones.
Center fielder for the Orioles.
Yes.
I thought he was the guitarist.
He probably is the guitarist.
I feel like you might have Googled that.
Well, it's just that, the predecessor, as I like to call it. His song was Tool. And I don't think anybody ever put together the guy who did the beat is the guy who wrote this, the guy's name.
I figured you guys would know everything about them.
I know the songs. I don't know anything like about the bands really.
Dan,
Yeah,
it is.
you know a ton about.
I could give you crap about knowing Vorp and whatever X thing you talked about earlier.
Yep.
But I'll know that I one time saw Maynard wearing a diaper at a show.
I mean, 100%. You guys would own that. I would be like, yeah, what?
Do you remember when he did that solo for the song Orestes of A Perfect Circle's first album? It was about a Greek god. Yes.
I was a hip hop guy growing up, so
I blame the marijuana. I also was a hip hop guy growing up.
yeah, no, I know, but I was not a grunge guy at all. I was a.
But how old are you now?
I'm 34.
So 34, like 1994 wasn't. What year were you born?
91.
Yeah, you were 3 years old. You weren't rocking.
I know.
It Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I know. I kind of missed it, but like, what, 10 years? 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So your heyday would have been 91. So 01. So 04 when the Red Sox won, you were like 14?
13.
I was like
14,
I was
whatever
like
it
in
was.
college and stuff.
13.
I was able to celebrate in a bar.
Yeah, me too.
I was not. I celebrated at home on the phone with my friend because I wasn't allowed to have him over because it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was 13.
Weston. No, Wayland.
Wayland, yeah.
What's that restaurant over there? Everyone keeps telling me to go to there.
Coach Grill.
There you go.
Yeah. No, we'll vouch for Coach Grill. Actually, my wife for Mother's Day, she wanted a tomahawk, so I got her a tomahawk for Mother's Day. She loves it.
Now, Lifshatz, what's the association with the Lifshatzes?
Yeah, dude.
And tomahawks.
We're tomahawk fans. We like it. We like it on the bone. You get the flavor from the bone, man. That's the deal. It's the dealio.
I've gone out with you many of a time, and there's been a time. Remember some guy saved the bone?
Yes, 100%.
And met us at an event with it?
Dude, my favorite steak right now in Boston is Rare.
At the casino, yeah.
Go to the casino and get the tomahawk is absolutely phenomenal. Medium rare, whatever you like. The top.
Is there a butter cream sauce or anything?
You get the
blue cheese?
No blue cheese.
No blue cheese butter.
Don't get any of that. No, I get cooked in butter, so I made sure there's no oil on anything. And it's absolutely phenomenal. Get a little bone marrow butter on there as well, and just it's delicious. Love it. Favorite thing in Boston right now, in terms of steak. I'm open to offers though. If anyone wants to try and beat it, I'm open to offers.
When we went to WrestleMania at Allegiant Stadium, there's a video I can share with you, but the menu was tomahawk steak, prime rib, a baked potato with mac and cheese, and a lobster tail.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Can't have it anymore.
You wouldn't eat that.
I can't eat that. No.
But you would eat the tomahawk.
Oh yeah. And I'd stare at your mac
What about
and
au
cheese.
jus? Can you dip au jus?
Nope. I wish. No, I am trying to be really, really healthy, have a kid, want to be around for her. So I changed my whole lifestyle. I'm doing, it sucks 100%, but I'm doing everything I need
Let's
to
do it. Sucks, but look at
it sucks. Yeah.
I lost 170 pounds.
I feel better. I mean, look, I feel better. I have more energy. I go outside, play with my kid every day when I can. But yeah, dude, it sucks. Like, I haven't had like a fried wing in like forever. No. We have a cheat day like once every like few months, and my cheat day was Buffalo Wild Wings. They fry all their chicken in beef tallow because I don't want the seed oil. So we do Buffalo Wild Wings and they do beef tallow. So and I only got the sauces without the oils as well. But still,
do you still get the bet sweats?
No, I don't sweat anymore. Like, look, I used to sweat.
Dan,
I used to be just disgusted.
You owned a rag.
I know.
I almost had Barry from Mr. Sid make you one.
I used to have towels, like a pack of 100 towels in my car. I still have those for golf, by the way.
So do you think it was just your body was just sweating out?
It was the seed oil, man. It's so bad for you. It's so bad. So I like don't sweat anymore. If I'm outside in the sun, obviously, I'm still a heavy guy, 100%. But like, I like sitting down at my house doing like normal things. I don't sweat. I used to sweat just like breathing. I don't do that anymore. Feel good.
All right.
Feel good. Sucks.
I'm happy for you, Dan.
I'm happy for me too, but trust me, I'm also sad for me. I miss the food, dude. Like,
Dan, on the line with us right now is the guy who brought us the bone in Nashville.
Oh man,
Joe, how are you, bud?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Joe?
How you doing?
Yeah, I remember you. We were at the billiards there. You guys, both of you were doing the show, and my buddy went up after you had the tomahawks and goes, "Hey, can I take those for my dog?"
It's a true story.
True.
And we met you. Yeah, so it's now the Gate City Casino.
Of course.
But at a previous Boston Billiard Club, when they invited us, their meal was tomahawk steaks.
It was the best. It was very good up there. Very good up there.
So, Joe, did the dogs ever get them?
Yeah. He brought his dog was a little thing too, and that's pretty sure the steak bone was double its size. But they got him. But I remember he wrapped them in napkins, put them under our table.
Joe, is it weird that I remember all that? Like that was like a core memory of my lifetime with Lifshatz?
Core memory.
Well, I met you after that one time, and I went up to you, and you recognized me, and I said, "I'm the guy with the friend with the tomahawk bones." You're like, yeah. So
you're the bone crusher.
Yeah, I listen to your show all the time, and I was like. And all of a sudden today, I just put it on, and they're talking about that. I go, perfect.
All right. Well, I didn't know if you just listened to Dan or you listen to. There's not much you get to both of us at the same time.
No. So
yeah. Oh, exactly. And then I just literally got in my car, and you guys are talking about that, and you're like, "What do you said? What do you like so much about the tomahawk?" And I was like, "Wait, they're gonna mention this. They're gonna mention this."
The flavor, babe. It's the flavor.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, did you have fun at that night? We had like
it was really good.
Podcast or something.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was live broadcast. You too. Geez, I don't know if it was live.
No, we did a live podcast.
Yeah.
And it was the night of the Falcons Patriots game on a Thursday night.
Falcons won that game, right?
They did. Yeah, they did.
But no, that was a fun time.
Well, thank you, Joe. Continue to collect those bones, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right. Good luck on everything. I love your show. I always listen to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
I feel so alone, gonna collect a bunch of tomahawk bones. That was my...
Something's never changed.
Alice in Chains song. Paul is in Wayland in Hingham. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Joe. This is a question for the famous Dan Lifshatz there. I didn't know you grew up in Wayland, so I guess I had a question. What are the good and bad points of living in Wayland? Because I have an opportunity to go there in a year or two.
All right, Paul. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. The town now compared to when I lived to it kind of sucks. It was fun when we, back then. It's very mediocre now. Good golf, a lot of good golf still. Sandy Burr, obviously, very, very good. Wayland Country Club, very, very good. I really like that. Yeah, I don't know. everything I kind of hear now is just it's very black, kind of compared to how it used to be. The good restaurant spots have kind of closed down for the most part. Coach Grill's still really good, but yeah, for the most part, it's.
I heard it's a pretty pleasant place to live.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place to raise a family. 100%. It's just I think compared to when I was there, it was better when I was there. I don't know, but now not because of me at all. I made it worse. But
so my other question is, would it help if I name dropped and said I know Danny Lipshatz?
No, I don't think that'll help at all.
Okay.
Sorry, pal. You might get run out of town. Actually,
would that work in Wayland if we ever went?
Not a prayer. Not a prayer. I'm not like a celebrity or anything.
I saw my friends from home yesterday because I grew up in Boston, so I'm never around. But I saw my friends from home, and they said that they went golfing at the George Wright, which is where I grew up.
Yep.
And I guess every time they go in there, they're all like, "Hey, when's Joe going to come in and try the chicken fingers?"
Yeah, no. There's
now,
no place like that in Wayland.
So I looked at it and I go, "Was that an invite to try the chicken fingers?"
Ooh.
So like now I feel like should I just pop in someday and I'm not going for the golf.
No.
I want the chicken fingers.
100%. Go for the driving range and the chicken fingers.
Well, they do have a putting green over
I think they have a driving range, don't they?
At George right now? Well, I don't think so.
Oh, I thought they did. Either way, that's an open invitation, Joe. You got to go. It'd be rude.
Try the chicken fingers.
It'd be rude not to.
What would make the chicken fingers so great? The batter? Like, would it be the do they deep fry them? Do they?
I don't know.
I don't know. Air fry them?
I don't know. You're gonna have to go and figure
I
it
feel
out.
like I need to know.
I feel like you have to. It's a mystery.
Dave on another Wayland call. Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on?
If you're gonna talk about Wayland, you gotta talk about Wayland Park. I mean, come on, that place was legendary.
Are we talking about Whalum Park?
Wayland, yeah, that's in Wayland, Mass, isn't it?
Whalum Park for a whale of a time?
No.
For a whale of a time.
That is not in Wayland.
Isn't that? Oh, my bad.
You're talking about like Whalum.
No.
When the sun is blazing and the summer gets hot.
What a
that's
very cool spot. Wrong place, but still cool.
But you wanted to sing the song.
That's it. I love that song. Grew up on that. Now, also, Water Country was a hell of a spot when you're growing up as a kid. Is Water Country still around, by the way?
It is. I drove by it not too long ago.
Really?
Lifshatz and I literally just sang the song out of nowhere.
Oh,
that it wasn't even the thing.
It wasn't. But the minute you started singing, I could not.
No.
It's catchy.
Okay.
It's catchy, too.
I've been to Whalum Park, but I've
never been.
Again, I'm a townie from Boston, okay? So, like, where the hell was Whalum Park? It was, like, way the hell out there.
I have no idea where it is.
I just looked it up. It's in Lunenburg.
That's like west Mass, right?
That's far. That's like Fitchburgish.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Well, yeah. I think that's kind of near me now. Dude, that's way far, man. That's way far.
But I've been there though.
I don't think I've ever been there. Maybe I did as a kid. I don't know.
Water Country.
Water Country. That was
what's another one, Dan, that you know the Foxwoods? I used to love the Take a Chance, Make It Happen, Dial the cork, fingers slap, spin the wheel, round and round we go.
I was too young for that, but yeah.
Oh,
I was a little too young for that, yeah.
You knew Water Country, though.
I did, yeah, well, because I was a kid. I mean, Water Country. Yeah, but see, I was a little bit too young for Foxwoods back when they had that, so I never got into it. Like growing up, my family was not a gambling family at all. So I was never a thing that we did.
According to our chat, Whalum Park has closed in the year 2000. That guy thought it was Wayland Park.
Yeah, there's no Wayland. There was no Wayland Park.
Whalum Park is for everyone. Amusement rides and water slides. Whalum Park is family size. Picnics and good times, ride days and shows. Whalum's got it. Come on, let's go. Great for the family.
No, that one sucks.
Yeah.
I heard another one. For a whale of a time.
Route 13, Lunenburg, Mass.
I knew it was for a whale.
Not in Wayland, I can tell you that.
Not in Wayland. I sometimes confuse Wayland and Weston.
I don't blame you. They're very similar. My street that I grew up on was half Wayland and half Weston.
I want some dumpling daughter.
Now that is a spot in Weston that is absolutely phenomenal. I love Dumpling Daughter. They had a dish there that I used to get that is just ridiculously good.
Well, shout out to Nadia and friends.
Have you
been to Heirloom? It's next door.
No,
it's a good breakfast joint, from what I gather.
No, I haven't. No, there used to be a diner across the street from there that I used to go to with all my buddies. That was the spot. It was a ye old cottage, something like that. Ye old diner. Either way, it was that was the spot that everyone went to in Weston, or right around Wayland Weston, because that was the spot. It was like a legit old time diner there. It was really good. I miss it. Way out of business. Way out of business.
What else? There was water. There was what was in Wareham? There was there's Ware's Beach had that little park thing in New Hampshire. What was in Wareham? Waterworks? No, water.
I don't know. I don't think I ever went to that. I don't think I ever went to that one. I used to go to Canopy Lake all the time.
Oh man,
Canopy Lake.
Been there.
That was the reason I said that, because that kind of reminds me of Canopy Lake.
The PG, what is this? The PGA Championship?
Yeah. No, that's way too big to fit in Canopy Lake, but still, it's a hell of a coaster.
Well, it looks like the Yankee Cannonball.
It does.
Obviously
that's much larger than the Yankee Cannonball, but
the log ride was one that I loved. At Canopy, the corkscrew was another.
Fun
Turkish
fact,
twist.
I own the record for most log rides at Canopy in a single day. Yep. We went in. Me and my buddies went in one morning early on, and we went until literally the last call. We were there. We spent an entire day on one single ride.
And there's a record.
There we held the record. Yep.
They have a Hall of Fame.
They had like a Hall of Fame as you walked in, and our pictures were on there. 100%.
Water Whiz is in Wareham. Thank you, somebody in
Water
chat.
Whiz.
Yeah, I used to go there too.
I have been there. I think I went once, twice. Not often. Again.
Do you know what Dan and I did today?
What did we do?
Somehow we shared high school baseball photos.
Oh yeah.
We've gotten a lot of calls in. It's Water Whiz.
Water Whiz.
When the hosts aren't listening.
Same thing.
No, Jeff, it's okay. You were on the phone.
Yes, I was on the phone.
It's okay.
The phone's got lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, but Water Whiz.
Water Whiz.
Waterworks was Quincy, right? Marina Bay? Because we used to work at 1510. It was right in the park. Did I ever tell you about the story, Jeff? Jeff worked at 1510.
I interned at 1510 for a while. I told you that. Or sorry, that was 890. I apologize. I'd worked with Anik at 1510 a few times.
Okay, he got me my job. But and Peppy. But
he texted me the other day.
We were in Marina Bay, and one night I had to work till midnight because I did both the BU hockey game was like somewhere else. And so I noticed the parking lot was like crazy. And, in Marina Bay at night on a Saturday, it gets a little busy. It's like people like to walk the boardwalk and everything like that. And all of a sudden, I found out that Brody Jenner was making an appearance at Waterworks. Dude, I couldn't get my car out. There was like people parked in like triple lanes. I think it became like literally like a fire emergency.
How much money do you think you got paid to make that emergency?
Well, how big was the Hills back in 20?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
10 or 07 maybe?
That's what I'm saying.
That's like at its peak, I would say.
That would have been like 08, 09, right?
Oh yeah, that was when that was at its peak.
Yeah, but like I couldn't leave. I went back inside because I'm like, I'm not going to leave. But because of Brody Jenner, I couldn't get out of Marina Bay's Waterworks. Horrible. Who would do that now? Like if the Jersey Shore were there, would probably would have done that, right?
Yep.
But like that's when reality TV, I think, was kind of really
like breaking in.
Well, The Hills was The Hills a spinoff? I can't remember now. It was with Spencer.
Yes, it was a spinoff from Laguna Beach.
Yeah. Laguna Beach.
There
you go. Yeah, whatever. Those are probably the shows that you grew up on, Dan, right? You're younger.
So, you know what?
I used to watch those with my girlfriend, so that's how I know it all.
I didn't watch that stuff when I was that younger until I got to college and all the girls wanted to watch it, so then they would come over and watch. But that wasn't like a big thing for us to watch.
I watched TRL though.
Yeah, that's different.
I gotta know what
everyone had to know what's going on with Carson Daly, man.
Well, that number one song, what's it going to be? Is it going to be "Lucky" by Britney Spears, or is it going to be Fred Durst, "Nookie"?
Or is it going to be the Bum Bum song?
We're going to break.
All
right. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports. We missed Wachusett. Wachusett.
That's a good one.
Wachusett Mountain. Ryan Beaton checking in on that one.
That's a good one.
Said who's listening? Thank you, Ryan. We miss you. You used to work on he used to work our show.
Yeah, dude. I love Beaton. I will always be a pro Beaton guy.
Beaton went from weekends to full-time mornings.
Yeah, good for him. Well deserved. Well deserved. Very talented guy.
Lifshatz and I were coming up with ideas off the air of what could really work as far as water parks, but I'm not going to share those ideas.
Oh yeah, gotta keep those on the DL.
This fellow, his name is Tyler, is on. He lives in Plymouth. Hello, Tyler.
Oh, hello. How's it going?
What's up, Tyler?
You said you were going to give me a red carpet, so do I have it?
I'm sorry, what?
You said you were going to roll me out a red carpet for a segment.
All right, yeah, here you go. Go ahead, you're on.
Okay, all right. So, for Water Whiz, I live like 15 minutes from there. I've been there like a million times. Love it. Great place. Marina Bay. Have you ever been to any of the shows that they used to have there, like the concerts? Because like Skrillex was there, back Tiesto was there back in the like my friends threw all those shows. It was crazy, crazy stuff. But the thing that I wanted to say was about you. I got hung up on this before by Skaz, but whatever. Like about the multiple Twitter and Reddit accounts things, and I just wanted to like kind of compare. I just wanted to just explore that a little bit because like there's multiple reasons to have different Twitter and Reddit accounts. So my first Reddit account like got banned a couple places, so like I just had to made two more.
Why would it have gotten banned?
Oh, just stupid stuff. I mean, are you on Reddit?
I don't have an account on Reddit, but I mean I've searched Reddit before. Yeah, no, I mean it's like Reddit mods just have like the ability to just ban anybody for no reason at all. So, and it's kind of the same with Twitter too. Like people just block you. It's like the same thing. I mean, like Durant has like how many different burner accounts? Like, you know, it's just crazy.
More painful than it looks.
What?
Nothing.
What? Wait, what did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. All right, all right. So, have you ever been to the Venus 2, Joe?
Yes.
In Marshfield.
Been to Marshfield, and there's one in
Hanover. Yeah.
Great bar pizza.
Yes. So you're in on bar pizza.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, all right. I guess I have I have my runway. So one more thing.
Wrap this thing up.
I think the Celtics are going to be okay. I think that they're going to move a lot of pieces this offseason. It's going to be a little different, obviously. I hope they keep Derek White and Tatum, Brown, White, and everything else can move, honestly. And I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Tyler. Have a great day.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Right.
Love you.
Do your callers tell you they loved you?
No, I don't think I've ever been told I've been loved, and that's okay. I don't think I'm the lovable type. You know, that's not me. That's not me. I'm the guy who gets hated. That's okay. I embrace that.
The YouTube chat was making comments regarding Tyler's call. Skaz hung up on him because he said he had 5 Reddit accounts and thought that, that's crazy.
I gotta be honest with you, Tyler. If you have 5 Reddit accounts, it probably means you're saying some things in there you shouldn't be saying. Just Just guessing. Just guessing. I would say you probably need to be careful about what you're saying on there. Maybe not troll everyone on Reddit because you're gonna make them all crazy.
Do you know what's funny is I go on Reddit. I don't know if I have like a name.
I don't have an account on Reddit.
Like I've never like written on Reddit.
That's actually not true. I registered an account maybe like a couple months ago because I wanted to ask a question about moving potentially to South Carolina. So I actually made an account. I couldn't tell you if I could log in though.
I have a Discord channel.
I don't.
I have a Discord channel for our night show.
I need to get into your Discord. I am in a lot of Discord.
No, nobody goes. We haven't used it.
Oh, well.
We used it once. No, what would happen? I'd be like, hey, we're going to a game. If you want to hang out and chat, go to our Discord. And it just didn't go.
Didn't catch anywhere.
No.
That's
it's there, though.
Yeah.
I like Slack, but we don't Slack with listeners, though.
I don't Slack. I'm not a Slack guy.
Do you use Slack or Teams at work?
Teams.
Yeah.
Teams guy. Yeah, I'm not a Slack guy. Never have been.
Hey, on the line is Captain Caveman. Hello, sir.
There he is.
Hey, guys. I hardly ever watch the YouTube stuff. I usually just listen, but I happened to watch this one. And, Joe, your reaction to that last caller, gold. I'm so glad I looked at it. I don't know if that's a regular caller to your show or not, or something you typically run into, but I don't know. If anybody watching the YouTube feed, you got to go back and watch that for Joe's reaction. Precious.
Thank you.
Joe's a big fan. He's a big fan.
Anyway, guys, there are a couple of way too early bets I'm going to talk about later. But the first thing I want to ask you guys is, over the last year and a half, I've found that a ton of betting content, whether it was on television in Boston or on the radio, is starting to evaporate rapidly. And along with some of the stuff that you guys were doing. But it wasn't just you guys. There was shows on NESN, shows on NBC Boston that were around gambling content with some very good gambling people, one of which, like Sammy P, was one of them that left the market entirely, which I think was a loss. What is your opinion as to why this is happening recently? And I'm not just talking the dog days of gambling. I'm talking like even in the fall. Why is this happening?
So I have two suggestions.
I'm gonna let Joe give his opinion because if I say my opinion, I will get fired. So I cannot give you.
Come on.
No, okay, I can't give my.
No,
opinion,
you know what? Honest, this is. I'm being fair when I say this. I think that they feel as though some of the talent that they have can deliver it instead of paying someone else.
Okay, I mean, listen, I think that Kendra's going to try to do an admirable job.
Oh, okay.
On the show that she's got.
No, I meant that as like, if you're watching, if we're watching like an NBA game, right? So, hey, right. Chuck, who do you like tonight? Here's the line.
Oh, dear Lord.
What I'm trying to say is they make it more of a bit instead of bringing in an actual, like, analyst.
Yeah, and I think they do. I think a lot of people who were trying, like myself a long time ago, trying to get better at doing it, trying to learn some stuff, a total disservice. And they play into all the bad habits and the things that aren't going to educate anybody and just going to sound silly, people doing their, promoting 4 or 5 leg parlays on show, whatever. I just think that there was some talent around on those things that, for whatever reason, I guess the shows just didn't value anymore. Right.
It's because, simply put, I'll give you an idea. The industry does not care about people who win. That's all you need to know. It's about other things than winning bets.
Yeah, I think it's more about digital media than it is about winning.
It's simply about a few things, and it's one of the big things that people do not care about is they do not care about records. They do not care about winning bets. They do not care about any of those things. They care about eyeballs and money, and I think that's kind of the way that a lot of things are trending. It's not just gambling. I think that's the way a lot of things in the world are trending, especially in sports.
And just so full transparency, we did the show with NBC Sports Boston, and we didn't get a sponsor. So if no one's going to pay for the time, that's
true.
You can't do it. Instead, they kept it with Benny versus the Penny because he's affiliated with the national NBC brand. So it was easier for them to do a pre-recorded show than do a live show without a sponsor.
That's sad. But anyway,
but it's right now though. Like, to be fair, The fact is once everything became legal, everybody went really, really big into it. Now they can't find new users because they've already tried that route.
No, yeah, exactly. No, and I do think that there was a huge surge in content 5 years ago when it was legalized, and you guys broke out around that time. Other podcasts and other people within the region broke out around that time as well. I'm sure that there is a market for this. It may only have to be in the podcast area right now, unfortunately, but there still is a market for this. I just don't get, even if it's seasonally. And again, I will say that come football season, college and pro, if stations like this one or others can't figure out how to do it, listen, I'm not an expert on the business, but I still think there's money to be had from a profit standpoint there.
And appreciate that. I'll do one more for you. Just in our station's defense, they gave us the opportunity instead of giving call me now for our picks in tout in phone number. They went local and in-house where they could have taken the money and given a bad product.
100%.
But it was the right move for them, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Trust me, you're going to still hear, call me for today's 5-star winner. Hey, that's a money grab. That's a money grab.
And by the way, not a single one of those people win. Not a single one. And it's unfortunate where we are because what happened was Joe and I kind of started early, broke into that space before we were ahead of the time, broke in. And what happened was it went legal to a lot of places where went from, 25, 30, 40, 50 different people to 4 billion different people all saying they all win and they all know how to do this. And it's just hard to know who to follow, what to do. So if you don't have a massive, following, et cetera. But no, the station here did a really good job. I think they, regardless of the fact that I'm not on the show, I still think Kendra will do a really good job. I think that they ultimately, if they're choosing between me and her to do the show, they made the right decision. So no hard feelings. I totally understand it. And I think that she'll do perfectly fine. And I expect the market to kind of continue, but outside of 98.5, just in general, the marketplace for gambling content, they do not care if you win. That's not it's all about looks and not about anything else. That's it.
Understood. Just very, very quick, two way too early things on college football for win totals. Number one, last year Army was the darling. This year I think it's going to be Navy. They've got a ton of guys coming back on offense. I know there's no official number out, but anything above 7.5, I would say, I'd hammer the crap out of the over. The schedule is again squishy soft. They only have Notre Dame to get in their way. I think they could certainly challenge for the AAC. And then secondly, Vanderbilt, our favorite, a little quarterback there, Diego Pavia, is back. He's winning his court case. He's got another year of eligibility, which, by the way, watch that court case, because if that court case could mean JUCO years don't count towards eligibility, you could see a lot of interesting things going on there. But he's back at Vanderbilt. A lot of that Vanderbilt team is back. Right now, I'm still seeing heavily juiced 4.5. I think they could pull off 5. I'm pretty sure they can pull off 5 or 6. I don't think Vandy's going to be catching a lot of people by surprise, but I still think they could win 2 SEC games with that team coming back next year.
Maybe.
Thanks, Captain K, man.
Portal's still open. Probably too early for that. Portal's still all going right now. Only win total I bet Iowa over 6.5 when it came out. That was it.
I want to ask you about Bill Belichick in North Carolina's win total.
Okay, I see that's not true. I bet 2 win totals.
Okay. We'll do that on the other side. We get the final hour to go, and I want to ask Lifshatz about Pete Rose.
Okay.
And he's got a victory shots that he has to do as well.
I will do that as well.
So we'll do that final hour here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. And by the way, real quick, this hour has been brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com to save 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. Yes, I know that by heart. And I'm Joe Murray.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 90.
I am too.
Why am I? Is this what's happening now? The Leafs suck so bad that now we feel bad for them and we're rooting for them.
It's not because that's because I hate the Panthers. I hate the Panthers. And now again,
A little from column A, a little from column B.
the best thing for the Bruins is for the Panthers to win tonight. They get the first round pick if they win tonight. Correct?
Is that already locked in?
Yes, that's correct.
That is okay. So that
well, I mean, Marchand would still have to play 50% of their games, so they make the conference finals.
Which he
He'd
has.
play like maybe 3 games.
Yeah, but again, like he played 7, and what they do first round? I think they went 5, right? So he's played 12 games. So I think that unless he's injured and they go 7-7, it's pretty much locked in. They just have to win tonight. It's better for the Bruins if the Panthers win, but I don't want them to win.
I don't care about the Bruins about this point.
I don't care.
It's more about the Leafs.
I just don't care about the Bruins.
The Leafs.
Sorry, Jeff. I know you love them.
No. You know what, Jeff? They were so desirable, weren't they? Just real quick, can I they were so desirable, right? Rick Tocchet's off the board. Mike Sullivan's off the board. Like, even Quenneville got a job. Oh, we're such a historic fan. Oh, we're gonna get a coach. Yeah. Who is it? And then today I find out they're very happy with Sacco. Woof.
Joe Sacco's a really nice guy. He's not I do not think he's an NHL head coach.
From Medfa.
I like him. I'm totally fine with him on the coaching staff. He is not an NHL head coach.
Again, this is just
not yet. He could be, just not right now. Not with this team.
I don't have sources. What I have heard is Mark Savard.
Jeff, thoughts?
I would love that move, actually.
He's with the Leafs. Chara is now back filling a little bit of a role, right? Where did the old...
Is he doing general managing? I think he was in the front office.
Let me ask you this. I'm not saying like Savard and Chara would be the new way forward, but if you were going to move on from Sweeney and Neely, don't those two know each other pretty well? Like, and Savard's been a pretty good assistant coach. Anyways, my whole thing was they bragged about being a destination, and you couldn't land any of the coaches.
Yeah, Chara joined as a front office consultant.
There you go.
Mentor for players.
FOC, front office consultant.
Yeah.
Which means
that was front office.
When you guys lose your jobs, he's in charge. And
fair enough.
There's another former Bruin that's linked to the Bees. And I hate his name, but I do think he's uprising. Marco Sturm.
Interesting.
The Sturm count.
Very polarizing player here. People loved him or hated him. Jeez.
Well, it's because he was traded for Joe Thornton.
I know.
That guy had no shot. So imagine him as the head coach.
No, they all loved him after he scored that game.
Traded Joe
against,
Thornton.
Montreal.
Traded Joe Thornton 3 years ago.
Take his name out of it. He's got a great resume.
Who's Sturm?
He's done great things with the Germany team. He's been great. Like if you want to get a guy on the up,
Can I be honest? I don't think it matters because this team is going to absolutely blow. So regardless, I think you find a guy who you like. Find a guy you believe in and who you like. I mean, at this point, whatever. They're going to blow. Sorry, it's the reality.
Someone just posted the video of me that Captain Caveman was talking about.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, let me give you the odds for this game tonight. Florida's minus 130. I'd go Toronto plus 110. Baby, ring that bell.
Woo! I too lean Toronto. I technically have plus 160 game on the series. So
who's going to crap their pants first tonight?
I mean, you would naturally say Toronto, right? Naturally. Up 2-0 in the series, and now we're in Game 7. They've already kind of crapped some pants. So, although they did win Game 6, so credit there was a 2-0. I would naturally say Toronto, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's in Toronto. It's in Scotiabank.
I think Sergei Bob craps his pants.
Okay. I would like Toronto to win.
Imagine if Austin Matthews, he did score a goal last game.
He did. He finally got off the shot, scored a goal.
How about NBA, Oklahoma City and Denver? Again, 2 Game 7s. One's at 7:30.
The Denver game's at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
And so we get to spread it out a little bit here.
Stupid. No, it's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, I get it, but like the 4 o'clock game.
So no Aaron Gordon, which is a huge loss.
Yep. Massive loss for them.
The spread's 8.5. I still think that's too high. I'd probably try to take Denver under 10 points. But I still think Oklahoma City is a young team that doesn't have a lot of bruises and calluses, and although I think the Thunder are the better team,
I agree.
I almost feel can Jokic take the game.
I agree. I mean, I think this is again one of those situations where you look at a young team. It kind of reminds me of the Miami Celtics series a couple years ago, right? Where, again, obviously Tatum gets hurt in that game 7, but just a young team that still can't find a way to close. I still consider Oklahoma City a very young team in this situation. I know they're phenomenal defensively. The big issue for me, again, still, when Shai is not performing at an MVP level, which he has not been, they don't have a consistent second scorer. I know Jalen Williams has been a very nice scorer for them this series, but I just don't know if they have a consistent second guy. You need a Jamal Murray, Jokic legacy game. You need those guys to score, play the way they have been. Murray played through in this Game 6, was able to win the game, able to play and win the game regardless. Those two need to play phenomenally on the road. You're going to need a lot from Christian Brown, whatever his name is. It's spelled Braun, pronounced Brown. You're going to need a really good game for him as well. I think the three of those guys, and you're going to need Westbrook to actually play at a high level. He has been absolute booty last couple of games. He looks like Porzingis out there. So he needs to play at a high level. I still like Denver. I think they get it done. I go Denver outright.
I have
5-1 in the series, so I have plus 500 in the game tonight.
I just got a call in Vegas. What picks for tonight? And I said, "Are you listening?"
For Mo.
Yeah. Mike's in Woburn. How you doing, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
Hey, how are you guys?
How you doing?
And I'll say it. I love Dan. I used to talk to him all the time when he screened for Felder and Maz, and he would either say I had a good idea or say I was a freaking idiot. So it was always fun.
I love you, Mike.
Yeah.
The feeling's mutual.
The Bruins, they're not going to attract a guy because no coach with any pull or with any juice is going to go to a place where the president and the GM are on the hot seat. It makes no sense. So you're either going to get a retread like they're talking about, the castaway from Edmonton, or you're going to get a new guy who wants to make his bones, and he's going to take that risk. So I think they're kind of stuck. If I was, Sullivan, I certainly wouldn't have come here. Plus the added complication of having a relative on the team, that's not going to go over in the locker room. He literally couldn't come here, I don't think. But I just wanted to call in to say, bye to Dan, and also to prevent you from wasting your money, because Toronto, you're betting on Toronto in a Game 7.
Okay, to be fair, Mike, I bet them for the series before the series started, so I'm just riding out my bet. I didn't actually bet them tonight. I know it's incredibly stupid.
Mike, I am betting them. I am crazy, and I'm rooting for them. So this is more of a rooting interest. And if it loses, I blame myself.
Yeah, well, see, because I'm going to watch this. Unlike a lot of people here, I don't harbor any ill will against the Panthers because aside from very recent history, they're irrelevant. And I actually like the way they play aside from the overtly dirty stuff. But what if they get up early and you start to basically hear all the sphincters clench in that crowd in Toronto tonight? There's no way that team is going to dig themselves out of their hole. It's going to be a black hole of suck that they're not going to be able to pull themselves out of, and it's going to be glorious to watch. This is what Toronto does. They lose when it matters.
100%. I'm just kind of excited to see what happens if they do score the first goal, Mike, because then if you think the sphincters are going to tighten when they're down one, imagine when they're up one. Those people are going to be so freaking crazy and losing their minds. Third period up one, what happens in that game? Leafs lose by 4. I mean, you just know that's like the guaranteed outcome in this game. So, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they're up one going into the third period so I can watch the collapse. I'll lose my money, but at least it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, it's again, I want the pick, and I want the Schadenfreude. I want the misery. I want that added entertainment of seeing an entire province's soul crushed before my eyes. It'll be very fun to watch.
See, I don't care about the pick because they're just going to blow it anyway. So it doesn't matter. They can't draft, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they wanted supposed to get a top 5 pick. They got 7th.
Yeah, I can't blame them for that. That's not their fault. Like, they put themselves in the position to get a top 5 pick, and they got screwed by the lotto. I'm just saying they can't draft. They just don't draft. I mean, sorry, Don, you kind of suck at drafting. It's how it is.
That's why they're in this situation.
Alex Cora not doing a good job of managing. Joe Mazzulla isn't a good coach out of timeouts, and Don Sweeney can't draft his way out of a paper bag. That's the reality. It's where we are in Boston.
We all suck. Here we are again.
Jesus.
It's the doom and gloom.
How did we get here? We used to dominate freaking every sport.
Doom and gloom. Here we are. We got more to go. Dan Lifshatz is here, everybody. We gave more bets. How about that Bill Belichick, North Carolina bet?
Oh, I want to talk about that.
I'd like to know about that. And we're going to do a victory lap. Oh, sorry. Victory shots.
Victory shots.
For Dan Lifshatz regarding one take that he had that worked. We'll do that. Well, that hit. We'll do that next.
1 of 500.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Dan Lifshatz is here, everybody. If you're just getting in your car and you're listening, we've done everything. Baseball, we did basketball, we did football, we've done betting, we just did some hockey talk. Can you believe that? We've done it all. This Bill Belichick thing, though, we haven't done yet.
Yep.
What's the word, Lifshatz? What's the word from you on this whole thing? Jordan.
I mean, obviously she sucks, all right? there's no doubt about it. Obviously she sucks and she has her grips in them. I think it's what we're real. I think it's too early to kind of judge on what is actually going on until we see the product on the field, because here's the reality that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to this, Joe, and I think that you understand it probably better than almost anyone at the station. I don't think a lot of people who pretend to watch college football here actually watch college football here. Sorry, just calling it.
I feel like that with basketball too, but go ahead.
Got me. Okay, yeah. So here's the reality. If Bill Belichick doesn't come in and absolutely dominate in the world of college football through his scheme, then yes, things are bad, because the type of scheme that Belichick can run defensively should make it impossible, especially for ACC schools. Because ACC, again, I know a lot of people think of them as a power school. The ACC college football program right now absolutely sucks and blows. It's terrible. It's Clemson, it's SMU, and then it's a bunch of absolute crap. There is no one good in the ACC right now. That's the reality, okay? BC, sorry, they're not a good ACC school. I think they have the potential. I think you're right with Bill O'Brien. I think that he certainly got them on track last year, but they're not there yet. They're just not. And so this is going to be a thing. Belichick's going to come in, and if his defensive scheme should and could dominate the ACC. If it doesn't, this team is screwed. They just got a huge transfer, second in the market from Boise State, second linebacker in the portal, monster get for them. I think a potential NFL prospect. They should be relatively dominant defensively. Okay, their schedule: TCU, Charlotte, Richmond. TCU is in Chapel Hill. Interesting game.
Now, TCU is a national championship a couple of years ago.
Good Big 12 team.
You
said at home it should be a loss.
Now, Cade Klubnik is coming back again.
Yep.
Klubnik, is it?
Klubnik, yep. He's
a decent college quarterback.
I think Clemson is going to be a top 5 team in college football this year. They should dominate the ACC, including Bill. Okay? But here's the remainder of the schedule, Joe. After that, home versus Cal. Okay? Home versus Cal. Sorry, that's at Cal. I apologize. At Cal.
After Clemson.
The only difficulty I see is the travel in that one, which is again, cross-country travel. It is a difficult one. This is not the NFL, but college still. Home versus Virginia. Bad program. At Syracuse.
Is Syracuse going to take a step back? They lose Gadsden, they lose McCord.
Should take a huge step back. Home versus Stanford. Bad program. At Wake Forest.
Andrew Luck's back. I'm kidding.
At Wake Forest. Bad program.
Mm-hmm.
Home versus Duke. Not a good program anymore.
Now, that kid Mentz is supposed to be legit.
Sure. He was really good at Tulane last year. Yeah. Still, that's a lot to
as
ask.
far as the quarterbacks in that conference, I think of Klubnik, Carson Beck's going to be at Miami.
Yeah, he sucks.
Haynes King. Say what you want. Dude was a baller last year for Georgia Tech.
Yep.
What about Miller Moss from Louisville?
Yeah, I'm okay with Miller Moss. I think the guy you're forgetting is Kevin Jennings from SMU.
Oh, yeah. And then Holstein from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't love him either. I don't love Kyron Drones either. So, I don't love them. I think Moss is the one with the lot of upside there. Obviously, Castellanos goes to Florida State. So that's that's an interesting fit there. I'm just reading.
But on their schedule, they don't have it.
And they finish up at NC State, who's going to be CJ Bailey again. I think Bailey is very hit or miss.
Realistically, on their schedule, Clemson's their toughest opponent.
Yeah, Clemson, TCU, and I'd argue the game either at UCF or at
NC State
or at Cal. NC State should be a win, man. They should win every single game on their schedule.
Bill Belichick is taking on a league state rival. He should win that game.
If Bill Belichick is coaching the defense, it remains to be seen. Okay,
I think his kid's doing it. Right?
Okay, but he's the defensive coordinator. But really, who's coaching the defense?
Yep,
it's Bill, right? If they are, and again, Steve Belichick was a very good defensive coordinator in Washington. That defense was dominant last year. Okay, they were dominant. They really were. The offense sucked. The defense was great. TCU, Clemson, maybe Cal, maybe NC State. If you lose any more than that, you're in trouble. So I think the over/under comes down to how do you feel about Bill? It's really all it comes down to. This team should win 8 games minimum. Minimum. They are good enough. They have the talent. They have the coaching. A lot of people are going to question the coaching staff. Oh, they're bringing in this guy, this guy. It's college effing football. It's not even SEC football. It's not Big Ten football. It's not even Big 12. It's ACC. Might have been worse than the freaking Midwest Conference. Okay, like Mountain West, Mountain West. Excuse me. This should be an 8-win team. If Bill Belichick can't get you 8 wins, then he's done, and it's all about Jordan. That's my opinion. We're going to find out real quick within the first couple weeks.
Dude, we just did an ACC breakdown, and I haven't even, got into it.
Neither. I'm just getting into it, yeah.
The ACC's
bad.
It's bad, but those quarterbacks are competitive.
So I think the quarterback group is going to be better this year. I think the teams are going to be worse. Like Miami should be way down.
Yeah.
Without Cam Ward, way down, right?
Duke's had a nice program too, but
Carson Beck sucks, man. He's got his cars and his women. He got broken up with by his woman.
That's right. Would you like to take your victory lap now? Dan Lifshatz was out. When I say out,
really out
on Caleb Williams.
My big thing about Caleb Williams, despite Kendra's argument about the pick nail thing, which whatever, is that he's just a distraction. He's a constant distraction off the field. He's not liked by his teammates. Anyone who runs in college football circles at all can tell you that Caleb Williams was universally hated, by every single teammate he had at USC. You talk to anyone off the record on that team, they'll tell you he was a piece of you-know-what. Everyone hated him. And he sucked last year. He was terrible last year. Okay, I don't care. You look at the box score. You want to blame his offense line, whatever. I
think he was drafted for his upside.
He sucked last year. That being said, Joe, and I don't like Caleb Williams.
This one was a doozy this week, though.
Don't like Caleb Williams, and you saw the article drop and everything, right? Okay, I'll take the W on that one. I will.
Yes, please take it. So basically, Caleb Williams tried to forego being drafted by the Bears.
Tried to go to UFL.
Got his dad involved. Tried to talk to the league about it. He was a distraction.
He wanted to go to Minnesota.
He was a nuisance.
Minnesota. He tried to go to the UFL. That was by the way, the reporting in that, I don't think they highlighted how close he actually was to going to the UFL. By the way, there are a lot of people who legitimately had that information way before me and thought he was going to sign with the UFL. That was that was a real thing, So there was a possibility of that. I'm going to say this: he got a coach this year. He handpicked the coach. He was a really big part of the Ben Johnson thing. Ben Johnson chose him. I think for this year, Joe, the Chicago Bears are going to go over 8.5 wins, and I think they are going to make the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay? And I do not like Caleb Williams. I do not think Caleb Williams will be a good quarterback, but what happened in Trevor Lawrence's second year? They got a coach, a legit coach, or was it third year, whatever it was. They got a legit coach. They added some talent. They stepped up his game. He stopped crying because he was off the field distraction, despite what Kendra says. He was, and honestly, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars look pretty good.
I don't think sacked 9 times versus the Pats. 9 times.
The offense. 9. Okay. The offensive line was
the Pats.
I'm telling you right now, it was more Caleb Williams in the offensive line. Go watch the games. He held on to the ball a lot. I think Ben Johnson will fix him a little bit. I don't know if he can save his career, but I think he will fix him. I think the Chicago Bears will be better this year. I think they go over 8.5 wins. You can pee and ring the damn bell, Jeff. There you go. I like Chicago Bears over 8.5. I bet them over 7.5. I bet them over 8. I bet them over 8.5.
Already told you I have the Chiefs not making the playoffs.
I did hear that one. I don't completely hate the take. I just don't know in that division who emerges.
Denver. And the Chargers.
So I'm really low on Denver this year. I was super high on them last year with Bo Nix. Now I feel like they're being I'm grouping in who are your overrated NFL teams right now that everyone thinks is going to be really good this year? I can tell you mine. Patriots
are definitely one of them.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I have the Broncos as one of them. Everyone loves this Broncos team now. Now they're this, they're that, they're whatever. Everyone loves the Broncos. So they're the Broncos.
The Bengals are another one for me.
Bengals kind of won last year too. And they also went under, by the way. I don't know what to think about the Bengals yet. I don't think the hype is crazily there yet. You know who has real hype this year? The Rams. The Rams have like real hype this year. Yeah. I don't agree with that.
I want to take the 49ers to bounce back.
I do. I am too.
Their schedule's very soft.
They have a fourth-place schedule. They face both
Bay.
AFC and NFC South divisions too.
Tampa Bay's because they should win that division, right? Tampa Bay. I think the Saints are tanking for Arch.
I think at this point they're done too. I'm gonna have Atlanta winning division. I'm probably gonna have Atlanta winning division. I think Penix looked serviceable. I think the coaching is going to get better, although it's not great still. I think the defense will get better. I like what they did defensively in the draft. I mean, they may not have made good trades, but at least I like the Pierce pick. Obviously, I like what they did in the draft, and I think that they are going to be better next year. So I like the Falcons to win that division early. It's early again. I'd not put a lot on these bets, but it's early. The other one that has a lot of hype next year, Joe, I'm just saying it. The Philadelphia Eagles and Washington Commanders both have an insane amount of hype. And again, one of those two teams probably ends up being really good. I bet you one of those teams takes a step back as well. It's the way it goes.
I'm interested in the Lions potentially taking a step back.
Oh, I could also see that. The Lions also could take a legitimate step back. But everyone also has Minnesota winning the Super Bowl. I think Minnesota probably takes a step back.
All right.
They're not going 14-3 next year.
I want to ask Dan Lifshatz on the other side about Pete Rose being on the ballot. Let's do that next here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Final segment.
I lied. She's listed 6-1.
We have another break here, Jeff, or what do we do?
I just assumed we were going to 55.
All right, we're going to go there. We got 10 straight minutes, Dan. How about that?
All right, let's do it.
I just shared out. Dan goes, hey, look at me. This is a photo of me in high school playing baseball. And I said, hey, man, here's a photo of me playing baseball in high school. So I just shared my photo, Dan.
You don't look anything like you do now. It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy. You look so young. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you that young.
Yeah.
The rough and tumble days of Joe Murray.
That was a big helmet.
That is a big helmet, yeah. Big helmet.
That was a real big helmet.
It's a tall helmet.
But Lifshatz looked like if Adrian Gonzalez had shaved his face.
I look like a baby, yeah. Yeah. I was skinny back then. I was not, and when I mean skinny, I mean I was like legit skinny. I was, I've had some muscle, but I was not like a big guy, broad shoulders, but didn't have the weight that I have now. Obviously,
those TPX metal bats, man.
Well, that is an old school bat. Holy moly!
Yeah, I don't think you can use those anymore.
I don't think you can use that anymore. That doesn't have like the restrictor plate on it or anything, right?
Well,
you can hit bombs with those.
Eric is in Reading. Hey, Eric.
What's up, guys? Just want to know what Dan thought of Chiefs under 11.5 and Titans over 5.5. I like those picks a lot. I agree with a lot what you guys are saying. I was going to have a question about the Niners, but I think you kind of already answered it. Is it over or under with that week schedule?
Yeah, I think I'd probably lean over with the schedule, especially. And I'm not a big schedule guy, but that.
And also, lastly, before I go, do you think the Niners waited for the schedule to come out to pay Brock Purdy? Do you think that played any part of it? And what do you think about that contract? I personally don't like it.
And it's the going rate for quarterbacks these days. Like Tua got the contract, Trevor Lawrence got the contract. Like all these guys are getting contract. I think Purdy's better than both of them, so you probably got to pay him.
I think you got to pay him. Did they wait too long?
Should
they have tried to get him early?
Probably should have tried to get him early at a little bit more of a discount, but it is what it is. I don't know. I ultimately don't think that $4 or $5 million a year matters really to, in the general scheme of things. So, whatever. I don't love the Titans over. I gotta be honest with you. I don't love the Titans over. I think I'm not a huge Cam Ward NFL guy. I think he'll be good. I just don't know. What was the other one he asked about? 49ers, Titans. He asked about one other one. I can't remember who it was.
Me either.
Can't remember who it was. But yeah, either way, kind of lowish on the Titans this year. Over on the Niners though for me. Again, haven't made full unit bets, just small nibbles, so nothing crazy yet. But yeah, I would lean over there.
Someone in our chat says no Bruins, no Celtics. Does that mean more Joe Murray? Yes. So every night now, 7 to 11.
Good.
Full shows.
Good.
In or
I like
out.
that. I'm in on that. I like the Joe show. I like listening. Oh, he was asking Chiefs under 11.5. You're definitely an under on the Chiefs.
I'm definitely an under.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty close. Pretty fair number. I don't think I'd have a strong take on that one. I think I probably I don't have a strong take. I lean under if I was going to lean anything, but I don't think I'd have a strong take. Like they're like the Patriots every year. You just bet the over and forget it. So I probably won't end up betting them this year.
All right, Dan. Pete Rose will be on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. If you really look at it, the Hall of Fame doesn't include the man with the most hits in history, the guy with the most home runs, the pitcher with the most Cy Youngs, even the guy that broke Roger Maris' single-season home run record, Mark McGwire. So now he will be on the ballot. Major League Baseball has put him, Joe Jackson, other guys that have been off the ballot. Now they're on. He's never had a chance to be on any ballot. And I think there are some people who thinks him being on the ballot means he will be in the Hall of Fame. So My thing is, other guys have been on the ballot but haven't been voted in. Do you think Pete Rose will get voted in? And why do you think Major League Baseball reinstated him?
I think baseball reinstated him because the fans really wanted it to happen. And I think ultimately that, there needs to be some sort of buzz for baseball right now. The sport is just kind of mediocre in terms of a lot of fan buzz. I like baseball. I play in a fantasy league, so I pay very close attention to it. But for just, in general, like my buddies don't care about it. So I think that was kind of the draw, was to, hey, we're going to start, trying to, maybe you're going to start here. Maybe you're going to start pushing writers to, vote for Bonds and Clemens and all these guys as well. I am 100% in on Pete Rose being in on the Hall of Fame. Didn't bet against his team, bet on his team. Fine with me. All he did was believe in his team. I don't care about betting on baseball as long as it's not against your team. So I am 100% in on Pete Rose being in the Hall of Fame. And if the writers do not put Pete Rose in, it would be a travesty, but just more the norm, because all the BBWA guys who all vote for this stuff, just snobs, the worst kind of sports writers, the worst people who cover this, sports in general. I hate them. I can't stand them. So I sure hope I'm wrong. I sure hope they put him in. Do I think they'll put him in? Probably not.
All right.
That's my guess. What about you? How do you feel about it?
I think it's crap. I also think that this...
In what way?
I think it's crap. The guy literally should not be on the ballot.
Why?
He should not be reinstated in baseball. Why? Because he died? That's how I feel. Like, he died.
Fair.
He died, so put him back on now. Oh, and then you get all these people, they couldn't let him see it. The dude literally is the worst at the integrity of the game, if this is what it's all about.
But he bet on his team.
Dan, he could have ruined careers.
I guess he bet on his team. You didn't bet anything. If you told me,
Dan,
if I was on the Red
bet
Sox
against the '86 Celtics.
So what?
He's stupid.
I didn't say he was. I didn't say he wasn't stupid. I just said he didn't violate the integrity of the game.
Should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Should Mark McGwire be in the Hall of Fame? Should all those guys be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes. To me, I'm kind of more along the lines of Mike McCarthy. I want the best of the best. I don't want Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't want those guys in the Hall of Fame. I don't. That's not who I believe should get in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Famers who should get in the Hall of Fame are the best of the best of the best. Everyone knows the legends of the game. That's what I want. A small hall. I want the best of the best of the best. All the guys you listed, including Pete Rose, are the best of the best of the best. It's like Men in Black, right? We want the best of the best of the best. That's what I want. I want the best of the best. And honestly, like, there's a lot of guys who have gotten into the Baseball Hall of Fame who just are not, they don't suck, but they're just not the best of the best. And I hate that. I
think Pete Rose, can you tell the story of baseball without mentioning Pete Rose?
No, you can't.
Did Pete Rose do more for baseball or worse for baseball?
See, I think he did a lot for baseball. I think that we're still having the argument in 2025 shows that that's a good thing that we're talking about it.
Dan, please answer the question. Did he do better or worse?
Better. He did better for the game. I think he did good for the game. We're still talking. No one talks about baseball in 2025, yet here you and I are talking about it in the final 10 minutes of our show on Sunday. That's doing something for the game. It is. That's doing more than...
And what's it
Then Mike Trout
did. What did you say earlier about betting and who they go with? Because I'm sorry, what was that?
I believe that unless you are, if you're betting against your team, I'm out on you. But if you are betting on your team, I am all for it. Trying to win, fine with me. I got no problem with betting on your team. No,
I am not an old school baseball person. Okay, I'm not one of those people. I think we learned when we even first put on a game that gambling on your team or impacting the game, you're banned.
I get it. I understand that.
Like we grew up and were born to know not to do that.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just telling you.
And he did it.
I don't have an issue with it. That's all. I don't have an issue with someone betting on their own team. Now, there's a lot of arguments against that. Like, well, what happens if you're using your closer and you put him for 2 innings instead of 1 because you bet on the game? Totally understand that argument. I get it. I don't have a really good rebuttal on that. I don't. which is why I don't think anyone should bet on the game. But I don't think Pete Rose was managing the World Series like that because he was betting on his team. I don't think it mattered.
Now that he's on the ballot, no one's ever had a chance to vote for him.
Yep.
If they vote for him and he gets in,
are you going to be upset?
Are the writers frauds for not letting the other guys in?
100%.
Thank you.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
It's the reality. The writers are frauds and they suck anyway. So I don't. They're all frauds. They all suck anyways. But yes, if that's why I don't think he's going to get in, because there's no way that they're going to be that stupid to let Pete Rose in, but not let Barry Bonds in. And if they are that stupid, I wildly underestimated the intelligence of them then. And that would be, I guess that'd make me look stupid, to be honest with you. But I still don't believe that they're that dumb. I do not think he'll get in. Not for a while, at least.
All right. Anything else to get to today? You got anything else? I
don't have one. No, we hit a lot of stuff today. I will say this. I do think the Boston Celtics, how about this? I do think the Boston Celtics, as we know it, are over. I do not think we will ever see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown ever win a title ever again. Not with the Boston Celtics. Maybe somewhere else, but I think the era as we know it as the Boston Celtics is completely over. It's completely done. I think we will never see those two win another title again. Not here.
The trade that I teased 4 hours ago was Jaylen Brown to Brooklyn for all their picks. And some salary.
I don't think I could do it.
Okay.
I want to be wrong. Again, want to be wrong. I just don't think that we'll ever see another title with those two guys leading the team again. I want to believe that Jason Tatum is going to return to full health. The history is against him. The history is against him in that. Not saying it won't happen. I hope I'm wrong. I'm just saying the history is against him on that one. And that sucks.
I feel like I'm going to get whacked right now leaving here.
What, by Pete Rose's grandson?
Dude, Pete Rose blew me off for a signing. Did you know that?
Oh, that's why you don't like him. Why did he do that? That sucks.
Yeah, I paid to meet him and Ric Flair. You would have paid for that, right?
100%. That's a great combo.
Flair cracked a beer bottle off his head the night before and had a big scar.
Nice.
And we still took the picture and gave the force.
Not surprised by that at all.
Pete never showed.
That sucks.
And then I never saw him again.
Did you get any money back for that? You don't get money back for those things? I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
I would have lost my
We don't want Hurricane Lifshatz.
I lost my mind.
At WrestleCon.
No, you don't. You don't want that. That's why I stay away from there. It's not my cup of tea.
Jeff Williams. Thank you, sir.
Great job today, Jeff.
He's Dan Lifshatz already. This show will be posted on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we'll, YouTube.
Okay.
So we got to get here. Dan, great working with you once again. I'm sure we'll do it again.
It's fun working with you, Joe.
All right, everybody. Mark Dundero's coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Cool down at Whole Foods Market. Ben & Jerry's until